Chapter 412. For half a day, there was still no sign of him breaking through the first stage. In the lower black lightning realm, Hong Yi's eyes darkened. She took out a blood-colored bronze mirror and pointed at it. The image of the upper cloud realm could be vaguely seen in the mirror. In the first stage of the lightning palace, Ning Fan had been standing still with his eyes closed for half a day. Outside the formation, there was a gray-robed old man mocking him. He was controlling the illusions in the formation to bewitch Ning Fan. Hong Yi's gaze gradually turned cold. If she was not mistaken, the gray-gowned old man hiding outside the formation was the White Lightning Realm's world spirit. A mere world spirit dares to touch my people. You're courting death. No matter what, Ning Fan was her subordinate. For him to be trapped by a mere world spirit really infuriated her. Unfortunately, she was in the form of a primordial spirit and she did not dare to enter the cloud realm in the upper layer to help Ning Fan recklessly. Just as his anger rose, Ning Fan's brows twitched. After half a day, he finally opened his eyes. Real illusion. 2 demon stars appeared in his left eye, and 2 devil stars appeared in his right eye. The 2 divine stars between his eyebrows emitted traces of lightning. He seemed to have understood something, but he became even more perplexed. He looked at the 2 paper cranes in front of him. Their faces were exactly the same, and their smiles were exactly the same. It was hard to tell which one was the real one. For half a day, he did not find any exit from the first stage. The world spiritist old man did not lie. If he wanted to pass the first trial, he had to kill one of the 2 Jiha. Of the 2 paper cranes, one was a real shadow, and the other was an illusion. If he killed the true image, it would harm the luck of Jiha's true body. If he could eliminate the illusion, he would be able to pass this stage. However, he was somewhat unwilling to do so. He could kill billions of living beings, but there were also people he couldn't kill. Back then, the heart demon phantom was an illusion of a paper crane, and he could not bear to sever it. Today, he was also reluctant. One of them was wearing plain clothes while the other one was wearing a white fox fur coat. After Ning Fan opened his eyes, both of them walked towards him. Their delicate and pretty faces still had the same childishness that they had in the past. That immature and innocent expression softened Ning Fan's heart that was like a stone. Both of them smiled brightly as if seeing Ning Fan safe and sound was the happiest thing in the world. One of them, Jiha, was embarrassed. She mustered her courage and held Ning Fan's hand. His small hand was still as cold as before. The other Jiha's face was filled with anger and happiness, but there was also a trace of grievance, as if she was blaming Ning Fan for not returning after so long. Big brother Fan, kill me and you can pass the first round. The 2 girls calmly told the truth. This fact made Ning Fan even more hesitant. He had defiled himself and shouldered countless sins. He could slaughter the world and bear the infamy of 1,000 years, but he could not steel his heart to destroy Jiha, even if the so-called Jiha was only an illusion. His heart struggled even more. The Thunder Palace in front of him gradually became blurry, and layers of illusions appeared. The first illusion was the All-Pleasure sect. The second illusion was 7 Apricot City. The third illusion was Ning Cheng. One after another, the illusions shrouded Ning Fan. As he sank deeper and deeper into the illusion, it became harder for him to extricate himself from it. Outside the formation, the gray-robed old man's sneer grew even wider. His sneer echoed in the illusion. Weak, too weak. You can't even bear to kill the true and false shadows, yet you still want to pass the first round? With such a weak mind, I really don't know how you managed to reach this level. Weak? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold, but his heart gradually calmed down. The last illusion stopped at the night of their parting. Under the grapevine, Jiha murmured her little wish. Big brother Fan, when you come back from the endless sea, can you bring me an orchid of the bell? Jiha said. The orchid of the endless sea. I heard that when the wind blows, it can produce a sound like a wind chime. It's very pleasant to listen to. When I heard that sound, I knew that you've returned. She has said. Ning Fan closed his eyes. He thought that he could distinguish between the two Jiha's real and false shadows. In the end, he realized that it was just an extravagant hope. From the beginning, he did not treat the two Jiha as illusions, and he was even more reluctant to kill them. Which is real and which is an illusion? So what if I can tell them apart? So what if I can't tell them apart? If I can tell them apart, will Ning Fan be willing to kill them? Ning Fan's lips curved into a warm smile. He reached out his hand and caressed the cheeks of the two Jiha with his usual doting expression. He would never hurt Jiha. Never. Whether she is real or an illusion. He activated the power of the heart formation and gradually understood why this true illusion grand formation could find Ning Fan's weakness and create Jiha to mess up his mind. It turned out that the power of this true illusion grand formation had already invaded his heart and seen through all his weaknesses. Peeking at the weakness of my heart and setting up illusions to bewitch me, the coldness in his eyes became even deeper. He formed a sword with his finger and a ray of sword chi pierced through his heart. Immediately, his white robes were dyed red with blood. His heart was pierced by a ray of sword chi. The pain was bone-piercing. That pain did not make Ning Fan frown at all. All he could do was shout coldly. Get out of my heart. When the sword pierced through his heart, a trace of formation force was forced out from his heart. At the same time, a muffled groan of injury could be heard. The injured person was none other than the elderly world spiritist who plotted against Ning Fan outside the formation. The elderly world spiritist was shocked. Ever since he was conferred the title of White Lightning Realm Spirit by immortal Emperor Tai Su, he had seen countless cultivators who entered the White Lightning broken world. No one had ever been able to break through Tai Su's 3 questions while he was controlling the formation force. It was because Tai Su's 3 questions directly pointed at the weakness of a person's heart. No one in the world could give up their weakness. Emotions were the weakness of a sentient person while indifference was the weakness of a heartless person. With the help of the formation force, the elderly world spiritist barely found the weakness of Ning Fan's heart and used the formation force to create Jiha. This true illusion grand formation was extremely mysterious. It borrowed the power of the heavenly Tao to condense one reality and one illusion. Only by killing the illusion could one break the formation. The intruder must distinguish between reality and illusion. If he could not, he would accidentally kill the true shadow and hurt the person who created the illusion. In the past, the intruder would either kill the illusion with indifference, escape out of fear or make a choice repeatedly before finally killing the illusion. No one had ever broken their own heart to break the formation like Ning Fan did. As Ning Fan crushed his own heart, the layers of illusions shattered into pieces. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of Ning Fan's mouth. When the two Jiha saw this scene, they felt a piercing pain in their bones. Be it the real Jiha or the fake Jiha, both of them felt sorry for Ning Fan from the bottom of their hearts. Ning Fan's eyes widened. He was even more confused about the authenticity of the two Jiha. However, why would he need to distinguish between them? I can't distinguish between reality and illusion and I don't need to. Whether it's reality or illusion, I won't hurt her. The word true and illusion refers to all unfounded and rootless obsessions. That reality is the realm that countless immortals strive to attain. I can't see through it because my cultivation base is still low. Do you think you can see through it? You're just an early void refinement realm spirit. Do you think you're qualified to see through reality and illusion? Even though I can't distinguish between reality and illusion, I've already figured out a way to make the illusions disappear. Fundamentally, illusion techniques are just bewitching people's minds. The key to breaking the illusion is to break the heart. What is reality and what is illusion? When the heart is in chaos, the illusion will be destroyed. Whether it's reality or illusion, as long as it's your shadow, it's all reality in my heart. You are my Daozhen. With the power of the black star in his body, Ning Fan's heart condensed again. This time, his heart was as firm as iron and stone. No matter how strong the power of the true illusion formation was, it could not invade his heart. He closed his eyes. His heart was as calm as a lake without any ripples. When he opened his eyes again, the illusory formation shattered like glass. However, neither of the two Ji had disappeared. Both of them are real. When this thought rose in Ning Fan's mind, the two of them began to disappear at the same time. Whether they were reality or illusion, he couldn't tell. It was this indescribable realm that was the embodiment of the extreme comprehension of the two words true and illusion. Ning Fan suddenly recalled the scenes when he became Zido's disciple. When he was at the mortal severing realm, he entered an illusory realm and became Zido's disciple, learning the wind mist finger. In that place, he met his mother and Jiha. He thought that it was just an illusion. However, Zido said that the illusion might not be fake. You entered the broken world from the endless sea, your mind entered the cloud sea from the broken world, and your Taoist heart entered the heart fantasy from the cloud sea. Have you really seen through which world is real and which is fake? The you who is diligently pursuing knowledge right now might not be a dream. The you who is killing in the rain world might not be the real you. Reality and illusion are only separated by a single thought. Boom. At this moment, when he recalled immortal sovereign Zido's words, he vaguely realized that the phrase, truth and illusion are only separated by a single thought, probably referred to all the truths and illusions in the world. Perhaps the paper crane was just an illusion. However, when Ning Fan was obsessed with her, the illusion became the real one. When Ning Fan's heart sank, the illusion also returned to nothingness. True and false are only separated by a single thought. Perhaps in this world, there is no such thing as true and false. Ning Fan's Tao comprehension gradually rose, but he forcefully cut it off. His realm was too low, and he had only just begun to comprehend the word void. He didn't have the qualifications to ask about the word true. The word truth was the truth of the Tao, a great Tao that only life immortals were barely qualified to pursue. If the first step cultivators pursued immortality, then the second step cultivators pursued the truth of the Tao. However, the second step cultivators pursued the truth of the Tao. Impossible. You actually didn't destroy the illusion but made it self-destruct. This is absolutely impossible. Since ancient times until now, none of the life immortal realm experts who came to this place could see through the difference between reality and illusion. How did you do it? The elderly world spiritist shouted in anger. He had used all his strength to control the illusory formation to attack Ning Fan. However, Ning Fan had forcefully broken the illusory formation, causing him to suffer great injuries. After the illusory formation was broken, a lightning gate mysteriously appeared in the lightning palace. It was the path to the second stage. The elderly world spiritist felt a little scared. Since Ning Fan could break through the first stage, he might also be able to break through the second and the third stage. He harbored evil intentions and plotted against Ning Fan. If Ning Fan manages to break through the third stage and find him, Ning Fan would certainly attack him. Even though the elderly world spiritist was at the early void refinement realm and his cultivation base was higher than Ning Fan's, he could already tell that Ning Fan was not someone to be trifled with. In addition, the elderly world spiritist's formation was broken and he was injured from the backlash. Thus, he was in a disadvantageous state. Thus, he was unwilling to fight Ning Fan. The elderly world spiritist's heart was filled with regret. He regretted provoking Ning Fan with his reverse scale. However, it was already useless for him to regret. The only thing he could do now was to activate the formation of the second stage with all his strength to stop Ning Fan. The second stage is the question of immortals and mortals. The stage set up by immortal Emperor Tai Su is definitely not something a mortal like you can break through. The elderly world spiritist grinned hideously. Immortal Emperor Tai Su. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with contemplation. This true illusion formation was extremely mysterious. It could borrow the power of the heavenly Tao. It was definitely not an ordinary immortal formation. It turned out that the one who set up this formation was actually an immortal emperor. So, this immortal emperor had originally set up this formation to test a cultivator's comprehension of the true illusion Tao. Did he not have any ill intentions? It seemed like the elderly world spiritist was the one who harbored evil intentions against Ning Fan. Looking at the lightning gate that led to the second stage, Ning Fan stopped pondering and calmly walked towards it. However, just as he approached the lightning gate, a ray of lightning suddenly shot out from the gate and landed on Ning Fan's palm. It turned into a blood-red lightning power fragment. There was a faint trace of starlight flowing on the surface of the fragment. The starlight flashed and went into Ning Fan's glabella. He originally had 2 divine stars. One was the star of imperial lightning and the other was the star of melting yin. However, as the starlight shone into his glabella, a third of the blood-red divine star condensed on it. After breaking through the true illusion stage, I can actually condense a third of the divine star. Ning Fan's expression changed. Could it be that this divine star is the reward for breaking through the stage? As the divine star condensed, an old and majestic voice that transcended the ancient times resounded in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. I am Lightning Emperor Tai Su. This star is your reward for breaking through the stage. After breaking through 3 stages, you can condense the Tai Su Lightning Star. Tai Su Lightning Star. Ning Fan was slightly surprised. He activated a third of the divine star and a blood-red electric arc immediately appeared on his palm. The electric arc made a sizzling sound. As soon as it appeared, Ning Fan was caught off guard. One of his palms was directly scorched by the electric arc. His physical body was incredibly strong but it was still easily injured by this electric arc. This electric arc was the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation that Ning Fan had devoured in the past. It originally did not have such terrifying power and it was impossible for it to injure Ning Fan. His lightning power was amplified and strengthened. The culprit that increased Ning Fan's lightning power was actually the third of the Tai Su Lightning Star. Just condensing a third of the lightning star had actually strengthened Ning Fan's lightning power by several times. The amount of lightning power did not change but its power had increased. Each trace of lightning power was a few times stronger than before. If Ning Fan completely condenses the Tai Su Lightning Star, wouldn't his lightning power receive an even more terrifying strengthening effect? The first divine star was an elemental star. The second divine star was the divine ability star. The third divine star was the strengthening star. That old man from the spirit realm deserves death. The Tai Su Lightning Star can be kept. Ning Fan's tone was cold. He took a step into the lightning door. The second stage, the immortal and mortal stage, in the lower layer of the black lightning realm, Hong Yi's eyes were filled with astonishment when she saw the image in the copper mirror. Ning Fan had actually broken through the true illusion stage perfectly. His speed of breaking through was even faster than her in the past. In the past, I dominated the rain world but I could only reach the 3rd stage. Just condensing 2/3 of the Tai Su Lightning Star was already enough to intimidate everyone. Since this young man can condense 1/3 of the Tai Su Lightning Star, he can already be considered as a peerless genius in the 9 worlds. If he condenses 2/3 of the Tai Su Lightning Star, his achievements in the future will certainly not be any weaker than mine in the past. Thousands of years later, he will certainly be an invincible existence in the rain world who can make the rain palace tremble. If he can condense the complete Tai Su Lightning Star, no one in the 9 worlds will be able to match his potential. No. He shouldn't be able to do it. After Lightning Emperor Tai Su, no one has been able to condense a complete lightning star. Even I have only condensed 2/3 of it. Hong Yi frowned. In her mind, she could not help but recall what Ning Fan said when he broke through the first stage. The key to breaking through illusions lies in breaking one's heart. What is reality and what is illusion? When one's heart is in chaos, the illusion will disappear. You are my Dao Zhen. Even with Hong Yi's cold and arrogant personality, she actually showed a hint of admiration. This young man's cultivation base might still be low. However, in terms of Dao comprehension, even I am not as good as him. Perhaps, he can successfully condense the complete Tai Su Lightning Star. At that moment, compared to obtaining the dark golden bamboo leaves to heal her injuries, Hong Yi was more concerned about Ning Fan's progress in breaking through the stage. Could Ning Fan do something that she could not? Chapter 413. The second stage was the immortal and mortal stage. Standing in the second lightning palace, Ning Fan's heart sank. He was no longer confused by any illusions in this place. The second lightning palace was a world of birds and flowers. Within the sea of flowers, there were two paths that led to two different exits. One of the paths was filled with spiritual qi, immortal music and mysterious cranes dancing in the sky. At the entrance of the path, there was a monument named Immortal Path. The other path was quiet and peaceful. There were only lonely night butterflies flying in the sky. At the entrance of the path, there was a monument named Mortal Path. The two paths led to two different exits. Both exits were covered by mist and lightning, making it hard to see them clearly. However, Ning Fan sharply sensed that the Tao aura of the two paths were different. This was the difference between immortals and mortals. Do I have to choose one of these two paths? Ning Fan pondered for a while. The difference between immortals and mortals was an extremely common topic in the cultivation world. It was set up here by Lightning Emperor Tai Su as a test. If I pass the test, I will be able to obtain the other third of the lightning star. If I fail, I will probably face a lot of dangers. After all, with the first stage as a warning, Ning Fan could imagine that there must be an elderly world spiritist plotting against him in the dark. As expected, when Ning Fan was pondering, that sarcastic voice rang again. Junior. The path of immortals and mortals is filled with life and death. If you can choose the right path, you will be able to enter the third stage. If you fail, you will die. Ning Fan ignored the elderly world spiritist. His eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. He did not believe that the elderly world spiritist would be so kind as to tell him the method to pass the stage. The elderly world spiritist said that one of the two paths was life and death. However, in Ning Fan's eyes, these two paths were not that simple. If he chooses the path of immortality, he would have to abandon the mortal world. To ordinary cultivators, it might be the right path. However, Ning Fan had experienced the mortal severing in the Sea of Clouds. He already understood that the so-called mortal severing was not to cut off his mortal past but to cut off the weakness of mortals. The path of immortality must not be chosen. Ning Fan was very confident that once he chooses the path of immortality, he would most likely die. It was the path of death. If he chooses the path of mortality, he would have to abandon the immortal Tao. To cultivators, abandoning the path of immortality meant abandoning their cultivation base. The outcome of choosing the path of mortality was self-evident. They would also die. With Ning Fan's intelligence, he had already seen through the vicious intentions of the elderly man. The old man tricked Ning Fan into choosing one of the paths to enter. However, no matter which path he chose, it would still be a dead end. It was impossible for the elderly man to warn Ning Fan out of kindness in the first place. He was just trying to lure Ning Fan to his death. I won't choose either of the two paths. Ning Fan sneered. With a flick of his sleeves, a gust of wind appeared and he clawed at the air with his 5 fingers. Purple golden smoke rose and the two paths collapsed in front of his eyes. They were eroded by the wind and eventually, disappeared. What? The elderly man was greatly astonished. He had never expected that Ning Fan would be able to see through the tests of the mortal and immortal paths with just a single glance. Following the collapse of the immortal and mortal paths, the old man spat out several mouthfuls of blood. His injuries worsened, and the backlash was extremely severe. This was the price of murdering Ning Fan. That's right, you can't choose any one of these two paths. Choosing immortals and abandoning mortals, choosing mortals and abandoning immortals, are both wrong. The elderly man had never expected that Ning Fan, a mere divine transformation realm ant, could actually see through the difference between an immortal and a mortal. What shocked him even more was that not only did Ning Fan see through the difference between the two Dao paths, he even used a strange method to directly erode the immortal Dao and mortal Dao. No one had ever been able to completely destroy the two Dao paths. What kind of power is that purple golden smoke? It's actually so terrifying. Even that arrogant woman in the past barely managed to pass through this stage after using some tricks. She could not destroy the immortal Dao and mortal Dao at all. You've destroyed both the immortal Dao and mortal Dao. You've destroyed the lightning door. You can no longer enter the third stage. The elderly man forced himself to calm down and said, "Is that so?" Ning Fan did not say much. He walked through the sea of flowers with each step. Each of his steps carried the tremendous strength of a fourth-level Jade Life Realm cultivator, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Step by step, he forcefully crushed the sea of flowers and carved out a path in the sea of flowers. I have already understood the difference between immortals and mortals. Immortals are people who stand on the mountain while mortals are trapped in the point of samsara. If the Tao is like a mountain, I will be an immortal when I go up the mountain and immortal when I descend the mountain. If samsara is like a cage, I will be immortal when I enter it and an immortal when I break it. Immortality and mortals are also separated by a single thought. My Tao is not that of an immortal, nor is it that of a mortal. The path that I walk on is my Tao. Ning Fan walked through the sea of flowers step by step, carving out his own path. At the end of the path, a lightning door slowly emerged. That was the real exit. Ning Fan nodded. He already had some guesses about the stages of Tai Su's 3 questions. This stage was left behind by Lightning Emperor Tai Su. The first stage was to test a cultivator's ability to distinguish between true and false Tao. The second stage was to test whether a cultivator had his own Tao. The third stage was called Tao and Life. Perhaps the cultivator would have to make a choice between Tao and life. When he first entered the first stage, Ning Fan was still confused. That was why he was trapped in the illusion for half a day. After entering the second stage, Ning Fan's mind became clear. The test of immortals and mortals could no longer hinder him. Next, he wanted to enter the third stage. Inside the lightning door, another trace of blood-red lightning power flashed and went into Ning Fan's glabella. Under the nourishment of this trace of lightning power, the incomplete and illusory Tai Su lightning star slowly condensed to 2/3 of its original size. With 2/3 of the lightning power remaining, Ning Fan felt that the lightning power in his body was boiling. The amount of lightning power did not change, but its destructive power increased by a few times again. On his palm, blood-red lightning arcs crackled like the shrill cries of thousands of birds. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. His hand was surrounded by blood-red lightning. Without using any lightning techniques, it would only take him a second to kill any half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator with this lightning power. Even if it is a Void Glimpse stage cultivator, he or she would certainly suffer severe injuries after being attacked by Ning Fan's lightning arcs. This is just 2/3 of the full power of the lightning star, huh? If I have the complete lightning star, some weaker Void Glimpse stage cultivators would probably be severely injured by the lightning arcs or even die from it. After condensing 2/3 of the lightning star, not only did it increase the lightning might in Ning Fan's body, but it also gave him a strange feeling. At this moment, he felt like he had become the Lord of Lightning. This feeling was not particularly obvious when he condensed 1/3 of the Tai Su lightning star. However, after breaking through the second stage and condensing 2/3 of the lightning star, Ning Fan's control over the lightning power became even more domineering. He recalled the experience when Hong Yi casually snatched his spirit-shattering whip. At that time, what Hong Yi relied on was her control and command over lightning. At that time, Hong Yi could easily snatch away Ning Fan's lightning treasure. Now, however, she could no longer do it. I'm afraid that Hong Yi also has the Tai Su lightning star, but it's most likely only 2/3 of it. If I break through the third stage, my control of thunder power will be even higher than hers. With a single step, Ning Fan entered the lightning door. Amidst the roaring thunder, he passed through the layers of lightning and appeared in the third Thunder Palace. This Thunder Palace was the final test to get out of the palace. If he were to pass this trial, not only would he be able to form a complete lightning star, he would also be able to kill the world's spirit for revenge. The third trial, the trial of Tao Fate. The elderly man's eyes were filled with fear. He had seen Ning Fan pass 2 stages consecutively with his own eyes and witnessed the terrifying destructive power of Ning Fan's blood lightning. Currently, his injuries were extremely severe. Even though he had an early void refinement realm cultivation base, he certainly could not withstand the ferocious might of Ning Fan's blood lightning. As the spirit of the White Lightning realm, he knew very well how terrifying the might of a 2/3 condensed Tai Su lightning star was. That Tai Su lightning star actually contained all of Lightning Emperor Tai Su's comprehension towards the Tao of Lightning. Other than Tai Su, no one else had ever obtained a complete lightning star. If Ning Fan obtains it, none of the cultivators of the Tao of Lightning at the same level as him would be his match in the future. I must never let you pass the third trial. The elderly man's eyes were filled with madness. He controlled the formation and summoned lightning spirits from the wild beasts in an attempt to attack Ning Fan. However, before these wild beasts could even get close to Ning Fan, they were all killed by Ning Fan's lightning finger. It was as easy as taking something out of his pocket. The elderly man could not stop Ning Fan from passing the trial. Ning Fan did not pay attention to the elderly man. He scanned his surroundings with his eyes. There were countless lightning rays in the sky and they condensed into 2 heavenly paths that led to 2 exits in the sky. At one of the exits, there was a stone tablet with the word Tao written on it. On the other path, there was a stone tablet with the word Fate written on it. This trial was obviously very similar to the second one. However, the topic of this trial was far more difficult than the second one. Tao or Fate? Which one was more precious to a cultivator? The path of Tao or the path of Fate? Which one was the correct path? Ning Fan's brows were tightly knitted together. He stood there for half a day. He had once comprehended the difference between an immortal and a mortal. That was why he was able to pass the trial in a single step. However, he had never thought about the difference between Tao and Fate. Throughout his journey, he would sometimes uphold the devil Tao. Sometimes, he would disguise himself as the righteous Tao. Sometimes, he would go against the demon Tao. His Tao was complicated and messy. Throughout his journey, he regarded human lives as worthless. To him, the only thing he could do was to kill his enemies. The only difference was whether he would kill 1 generation or 10,000 generations. By killing 1 generation, he would give the enemy a chance to reincarnate. This kind of enemy might have a different Tao, but there was no deep hatred between them. By killing 10,000 generations, he would eliminate any possibility of the enemy seeking revenge. This kind of enemy would certainly have a grudge against Ning Fan. Ning Fan closed his eyes and his mind gradually calmed down. Be it Tao or Fate, they might be precious to cultivators. However, to him, they were not worth mentioning at all. Seeing Ning Fan fall into a predicament, the elderly man naturally heaved a sigh of relief. Inwardly, he sneered. No one had ever broken through this trial before. Some cultivators chose Tao but lost their lives because of it. They died in this place. Some cultivators chose Fate but lost their Tao because of it. Even so, they could barely avoid death. The elderly man sneered. If he had to choose, he would naturally choose Fate. It was because someone had once told him, if I punch you, your life will be scattered. If you lose your life, why would you still cultivate the great Tao? Life was the supreme great Tao. In this stage, if you choose your Tao, you will die. If you choose your Fate, you will live. However, even if you choose your Fate, you will definitely not be able to pass the 3rd stage and come outside to seek revenge on me. It's impossible for you to kill me. The elderly man sneered, but Ning Fan remained unmoved. Life was very important. If one lost their life, they would naturally be unable to cultivate. For cultivators who wholeheartedly pursued higher realms, preserving their own lives was the most important thing. But to an ordinary person, there were too many things in life that were more important than one's life. In fact, they were even more important than Tao. Ning Fan did not agree with the elderly man's opinion. In his eyes, the world's spiritist elder was even inferior to the ferocious beasts in the lower Black Lightning realm that did not fear death. Those ferocious beasts were willing to die to protect the teleportation formation. Even though he was afraid of Ning Fan, he did not take even half a step back. As his enemies, Ning Fan had to kill them. However, he still had a trace of respect for these ferocious beasts. He would only kill them once. These vicious beasts had a Tao in their hearts. In order to protect this Tao, they were willing to die even though they knew they would die. To them, as long as the Tao existed, they would exist. If the Tao died, they would die. Ning Fan recalled the past. He had seen and killed too many of these enemies who had their hearts attached to the Tao. He was deep in thought. Tao comprehension was born. The first step of cultivation consisted of 7 realms. The cultivators of these 7 realms struggled bitterly just to achieve longevity. That was life. The second step of cultivation consisted of 3 realms. The immortals of these 3 realms pursued painstakingly just for the truth of the Tao. However, Ning Fan did not pursue Tao in life. They had never been. He had never cared about longevity. Neither did he care about the truth of the Tao. What he cared about was only the most trivial people and matters. Throughout my journey, I naturally cherished my life. However, there were too many times where I had no choice but to risk my life and Tao sense. I had to fight, snatch and kill my way forward. I had no other choice but to break through my predicament. As long as the Tao exists, I will exist. If the Tao dies, I will die. I can understand this kind of feeling. However, to me, Tao and life are not the most important things. If she is safe and happy, I don't care even if my Tao and life are separated. Tao and life can all be destroyed. Ning Fan pointed his finger. Wind and mist covered the sky, carrying the determination to erode everything. The heavenly path of Tao collapsed. The heavenly path of fate collapsed. The elderly man was filled with shock and fear. He had never seen a cultivator who was so arrogant to the point of destroying the paths of fate and Tao. He did not pursue longevity nor the truth of the Tao. The elderly man could not understand what Ning Fan was pursuing. However, to his horror, he realized that Ning Fan had actually broken the 3rd stage which no one had ever broken before. A gigantic door appeared in the middle of the 3rd lightning palace. The 3rd ray of blood-red lightning went into Ning Fan's glabella. The incomplete and illusory Tai Su lightning star was rapidly restored with the help of this last ray of lightning power. A surge of blood-red lightning power that was as ferocious as monstrous waves spread out from Ning Fan's body. A massive lightning diagram was engraved under his feet and unfolded like a scroll. That lightning diagram was engraved with mysterious patterns. When this lightning diagram appeared, all the lightning in the myriad world seemed to have to submit to Ning Fan's feet. Ning Fan's body emitted a divine aura that could not be looked at directly. It was earth-shattering. His cold and frightening eyes could move all living beings. Tai Su lightning diagram. The elderly man was so shocked that he wanted to die. This lightning diagram was one of Immortal Emperor Tai Su's trump cards. By summoning this lightning diagram, it could absorb almost all lightning attacks of the same level. The 3 questions of Tai Su that no one had ever broken since ancient times was broken at this moment. The lightning palace collapsed. Ning Fan stepped on the lightning diagram in the ruins and stared coldly at an elderly man in grey robes from afar. That person was none other than the elderly man. He was the despicable person who deliberately made things difficult for Ning Fan and wanted to kill him. You can die now. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with indifference. He raised his 5 fingers and clawed at the sky. Borrowing the power of the lightning diagram, countless lightning bolts obeyed his command and turned into a gigantic blood-red lightning palm, slamming down on the elderly man. The destructive power of that palm was definitely comparable to a void glimpse stage attack. The elderly man's expression changed greatly. If it was any other time, he would be injured after receiving this palm strike, but he would not die. Today, however, he plotted against Ning Fan viciously. Ning Fan broke through the stages 3 times in a row and he suffered a backlash 3 times. Due to his severe injuries, his cultivation base had already fallen to the half-step void refinement realm. Being struck by the lightning palm, he did not even have the time to escape. All he could do was to use all of his lightning power to form a faint golden primordial lightning armor in front of his chest. The golden lightning armor was the 2nd grade of the primordial lightning armor. It was enough to defend against void refinement realm attacks. This lightning armor was just a faint golden color. There were still some traces of silver color that had yet to fade. It could not completely nullify a void glimpse stage attack, but it could still protect his body. It was enough for him to only suffer injuries but not die. However, as soon as this primordial lightning armor was formed, something strange happened. The lightning diagram beneath Ning Fan's feet suddenly shone with profound lightning wings as if it was giving an order to the primordial lightning armor. That lightning armor could not resist it and directly shattered, turning into specks of lightning which were absorbed into the Tai Su lightning diagram. Without the full defensive power of the primordial lightning armor, the elderly man had to forcefully endure the destructive power of Ning Fan's lightning palm. With the strengthening effect of the Tai Su lightning star, the destructive power of that palm strike was comparable to a void glimpse stage attack. It landed on the defenseless elderly man and engulfed him with destructive lightning might. You're just a divine transformation realm cultivator, but you're actually so strong. Ah! The elderly man could not believe what he saw. He let out a miserable shriek and died within the lightning, turning into ashes. From then on, Tai Su's 3 questions was completely broken. The lightning palace had already disappeared. From today onwards, no one could receive the reward from Lightning Emperor Tai Su. Ning Fan dispersed the lightning light and the lightning diagram. He touched the 3rd divine star on his forehead and revealed a satisfied look. The strengthening effect of the 3rd star was very strong. If he has the opportunity, with the strength of the 3rd star, Ning Fan would definitely have the chance to become the next Thunder Sovereign Buzhou after 1,000 years. One day has already passed. I can't delay any longer. I should head to the Black Lightning Tower as soon as possible. Condense. Ning Fan performed a hand seal with all 10 of his fingers. His hand seals were exactly the same as the elderly man's. It was the hand seal of the primordial lightning armor. Inside his dantian, a palm-sized primordial spirit was enveloped by a slightly illusory silver lightning armor, protecting it from the sneak attacks of the undead spirits in the lightning tower. Ning Fan's primordial lightning armor was just at the 1st grade of silver lightning since he had just started cultivating it. A 1st grade silver lightning armor could only defend against the primordial spirit attacks of early divine transformation realm experts. However, this lightning armor had an advantage. It could advance to the next grade by devouring the lightning in the primordial spirit of a lightning cultivator. After killing the elderly man, Ning Fan did not leave any corpse behind. Only the lightning light that filled the sky remained. That elderly man was originally a realm spirit of the White Lightning realm. He was a unique spiritual body that did not have a physical body. It was just a body of lightning light. His corpse was the lightning light. Among the lightning light, there was also the lightning light that was transformed from his primordial spirit. It was a great supplement for the primordial lightning armor. Ning Fan naturally would not waste the lightning power of his primordial spirit. He opened his mouth and swallowed all the lightning light into his abdomen, refining it into his lightning armor. The lightning power of a void refinement realm expert was extremely powerful. It directly improved the grade of his lightning armor to the 2nd grade of silver lightning armor. The 2nd grade of silver lightning armor was enough to defend against the primordial spirit attacks of mid-divine transformation realm experts. I wonder how much lightning power of the undead spirits can I devour after killing my way to the 7th floor of the Black Lightning Tower. I wonder what grade this primordial lightning armor will reach. Ning Fan's eyes were burning with passion. If he has enough lightning primordial spirit to devour, this primordial lightning armor would definitely be a powerful defensive method that was hard to come by. In the lower level of the Black Lightning realm, Hong Yi was speechless. Ning Fan broke through 3 levels in a row and killed a realm spirit. Every word he said made her unable to let go. She had really underestimated him. Ning Fan had actually solved the 3 questions of Tai Su and obtained the Tai Su Lightning Star. I didn't expect that such an outstanding talent would appear in the Rain world in just 10,000 years. This kid is very good. He has the Wind Mist Finger and the Tai Su Lightning Star. He can help me achieve great things. Hong Yi seemed to be convinced of something. He kept the copper mirror and no longer peeked at Ning Fan. After all, he was unable to continue peeking at Ning Fan. The Black Lightning Tower concealed the heavenly secrets. She, who was just a copper mirror, could not see what Ning Fan was doing. But she didn't think it was necessary. The current Ning Fan had solved the 3 questions of Tai Su, condensed the Tai Su Lightning Star and comprehended the Tai Su Lightning Diagram technique randomly. With his strength, it was more than enough for him to kill his way to the 7th floor of the Black Lightning Tower. In fact, he could even explore the first 10 floors. It was definitely not a problem for Ning Fan to pick the dark golden bamboo leaves. Hong Yi had never thought that the helper she had casually picked up would be such an impressive figure. To her, Ning Fan was of great value. Chapter 4:14. The Sky Thunder Bamboo Pagoda had a total of 100 floors. The pagoda was filled with dead spirits that used thunder to condense souls. Most of them had low intelligence. There were no Void Refinement Realm undead spirits on the first 4 floors. From the 5th floor onwards, Void Refinement Realm undead spirits would appear. However, most of them were Void Glimpse stage lightning spirits. The higher one went, the stronger the dead spirits would be. After reaching the 10th floor, there would be a Void Inquiry stage lightning spirit. Within the 10 levels, there would be no difficulty, but above the 10 levels, it would be difficult. Even though he had experienced the Void Inquiry stage, he was just a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert after all. If he were to face a true Void Inquiry stage expert, he would have no chance of winning. He pressed his palm on the door of the Black Lightning Tower. Lightning flashed and Ning Fan's figure drifted into the tower. He appeared in a black desert on the first floor of the Black Lightning Tower. The desert was boundless and filled with hazy thunder mist. The thunder's spiritual energy here was extremely dense, making it the best place to cultivate thunder techniques. However, it was a pity that Ning Fan did not come here for secluded cultivation. He was in a rush and it was impossible for him to stay here for too long. To his left, he could vaguely sense the fluctuations of the battle through the misty thunder mist. Ning Fan scanned the area with his spirit sense. There were more than 10 undead spirits fighting each other 60,000 li away to the west. The dozen or so dead spirits were roughly humanoid in shape, but they had only one eye and sharp fangs. Their entire bodies were naked and covered with scales. They had no sexual characteristics and were neither male nor female. According to Hong Yi's information, only when the dead spirits broke through the deity transformation realm could they gain intelligence and develop a pair of eyes, basically looking like humans. All of the dead spirits were at least at the nascent soul level. The strongest among them was at the peak of the nascent soul level. However, as long as they didn't break through to the soul formation stage, they wouldn't have any intelligence, and their behavior would be no different from beasts. These dozen or so dead spirits were fighting over the corpse of a soul formation dead spirit. Undead spirits could advance by devouring other corpses. Whoever could devour this soul formation cultivator's corpse would be able to increase their cultivation by leaps and bounds. Undead spirits fighting for corpses. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He took a step forward and appeared 60,000 li away. The smoke dissipated, and he appeared in the middle of the dead spirits. He stepped on a dead body with a cold look in his eyes. Seeing Ning Fan appear out of nowhere, the 10 or so undead spirits thought that he was here to snatch the corpse. All of their eyes were filled with rage. The dead spirits were enraged. They opened their bloody mouths and spat out lightning bolts, letting out earth-shattering roars. Roar! Each of the lightning rays was powerful enough to kill an ordinary nascent soul realm cultivator. However, when so many of them struck Ning Fan's body, they disappeared mysteriously. Since Ning Fan possessed the Tai Su lightning star and condensed the lightning diagram, he could even devour the lightning light of the void glimpse stage. Why would he be afraid of the lightning of a mere nascent soul realm cultivator? With a flick of his finger, a blood-colored arc of lightning shot out. In an instant, 10,000 blood-colored lightning bolts shot down. The dozen or so dead spirits had never seen such a scene before, and all of them fled in terror. However, could a mere nascent soul realm cultivator escape from Ning Fan's hands? The answer was no. When the lightning struck, all of the undead spirits were instantly killed, leaving behind a severely injured peak nascent soul realm undead spirit. Ning Fan had purposely not killed it. The undead spirit of Yuan Yen was frightened and his only eye was full of fear. He was not far from the semi-god realm and he also had some intelligence. He had lived on the first floor for countless years but he had never seen any undead spirit with Ning Fan's strength. Even the lightning lord of the first floor who possessed half-step void refinement realm strength was not as frightening as Ning Fan's. Without giving it any chance to beg for mercy, Ning Fan directly and coldly searched its soul and memory. After all, what he got from Hong Yi was only partial information. In order to obtain accurate information about this place, searching its soul and memory was undoubtedly the fastest way. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan put down the undead spirit of Yuan Yen who had turned into an idiot. Then, he pointed his finger and destroyed it. From the broken memories of the undead spirit, Ning Fan had obtained a lot of information other than the complete map of the first floor. There were 100 floors in the lightning tower. The dark golden bamboo leaves on each floor were guarded by the lightning lord. The lightning lord was the strongest undead spirit on this floor. Undead spirits could not devour spiritual items but they could use the spiritual chi that the bamboo leaves gave off to cultivate. Therefore, the bamboo leaves on each floor were occupied by the lightning bamboo. If he wanted to obtain the bamboo leaves, he would just have to kill the lightning lord. Ning Fan's eyes fell on the corpse of the divine transformation realm undead spirit. He pointed his finger and destroyed the corpse, obtaining a trace of primordial lightning which he refined into his lightning armor. Only divine transformation realm undead spirits had primordial spirits and could produce primordial lightning. A trace of primordial lightning was only enough to improve the lightning armor of the second level of the silver grade by a tiny bit. If he wants to break through to the third level of the silver grade, he would probably have to kill a lot of divine transformation realm undead spirits. Of course, if he kills void refinement realm undead spirits, he would naturally be able to break through to the third level of the silver grade. Perhaps he would only need to devour a trace of void refinement realm primordial lightning to break through to the third level of the silver grade. Other than primordial lightning, there were actually other gains which were beyond Ning Fan's expectation. After killing the undead spirits, there was no Dao fruit or demon core. However, a silver lightning jade that was the size of a fingernail condensed. With just a glance, Ning Fan was certain that even though this silver jade contained a lot of lightning power, it was useless to him. Only the undead spirits in this place could devour it. Even though it had no use for him, he still kept it first. The lightning bamboo on the first floor of the Black Lightning Tower is at the half-step void refinement realm. I can destroy it with just a lift of my palm. Ning Fan took a step forward. After confirming a direction, he moved forward. There was no benefit in killing nascent soul realm undead spirits. If he did not kill them, it would be a waste of time. Once he encounters a divine transformation realm undead spirit, he would kill them with a wave of his hand and devour their primordial lightning mercilessly. Along the way to the end of the eastern region of the first floor, Ning Fan had killed 24 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. Only 2 hours had passed. 24 traces of primordial lightning only allowed his silver armor to advance by less than 1/5 to the 3rd level. He would probably need to kill at least 100 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits to upgrade his lightning armor. Other than primordial lightning, Ning Fan had already obtained 25 pieces of silver jade. At the end of the eastern region was a black bamboo forest. Above the bamboo forest, the thunderstorm did not stop. Inside the thunderstorm, there was a gigantic ferocious beast which gave off a peak Divine Transformation Realm aura force. On top of the ferocious beast's head, a burly man in black robes was sitting cross-legged. He was cultivating while holding a dark golden bamboo leaf. Sensing Ning Fan's arrival, the burly man suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes flashed with ferocious lightning and snorted coldly. Humph! Human-shaped undead spirit. I've never seen you before. You must be a newly advanced Divine Transformation Realm undead spirit, right? You're just an early Divine Transformation Realm undead spirit. How dare you trespass into my forbidden area? You're courting death. I wonder if your lightning corpse will taste good if I kill you and eat it. The burly man licked his lips and stood up all of a sudden. Without giving Ning Fan any chance to explain himself, he used his 5 fingers to grasp lightning. Traces of silver lightning gathered on his palm and instantly turned into a gigantic silver-winged lightning bird. Then, it flew towards Ning Fan while letting out a shrill cry. The aura force of a half-step void refinement realm expert shook the entire place. The lightning might of the lightning bird was enough to make any peak Divine Transformation realm expert tremble in fear. He was the Thunderbolt Master. In the first level, he had the power of life and death. Anyone who offended him could be killed. If he wants to devour Ning Fan, why would he need a reason? Ning Fan did not have the mood to talk nonsense with this person. In his eyes, the so-called Lightning Lord of the first floor was just an ant that he could kill with a raise of his hand. Even though the silver-winged lightning bird's aura force was powerful, when it arrived in front of Ning Fan, it exploded without any warning. Before it could even get close to Ning Fan, it was already absorbed and devoured by the lightning diagram. The burly man in black robes was shocked. He was well aware of how powerful his lightning bird technique was. In this first floor of the lightning tower, there was certainly no one who could withstand a single attack from him. You're not an undead spirit of the first floor. You're a half-step void refinement realm expert. You must be an expert from the lower world of the second floor. Ning Fan did not answer him. He just took a step forward. Amidst the 10,000 lightning bolts, he disappeared without a trace, as if he had disappeared from this world. At the next moment, he suddenly appeared in front of the burly man in black robes. He appeared above the ferocious beast's head out of nowhere and threw a punch. His physical body was at the 4th level of the Jade Life realm. In addition to the extreme strength of the corpse devil body, this punch was infinitely close to the attack of the golden body refining realm. The destructive force of his fist light shook heaven and earth, making the burly man in black robes feel like dying. Under Ning Fan's punch, the burly man in black robes felt that he would certainly die. Lightning flashed on both of his fists. He braced himself and clashed against Ning Fan's fist light. However, after just one clash, the bones in both of the burly man's arms were completely shattered. He was sent flying backwards while spurting out blood. His immortal veins were also destroyed. Apparently, he was severely injured by Ning Fan's punch and was already on the verge of death. It's impossible. Even a Void Glimpse stage expert might not have such a strong punch force. You're not a Divine Transformation realm expert. You must be a Void Refinement realm expert. The burly man in black robes was terrified. Where was his usual domineering and arrogant demeanor as the Lightning Lord? He turned into a ray of lightning and fled. He even abandoned his natal beast. Not only did he abandon his pet beast, but he also directly performed a mysterious hand seal to activate the demon core of his pet beast to self-detonate. A dignified peak divine transformation realm giant beast exploded into layers of blood mist. The destructive power of the explosion could even injure a half-step void refinement realm expert. This man was truly ruthless. Unfortunately, even if he sacrificed his tamed beast, he still couldn't hurt Ning Fan. In the end, he could not escape. Inside the layers of blood mist, Ning Fan's body was protected by his star power. His eyes flashed with cold light as he pointed at the sky and stopped the burly man's teleportation lightning. His 5 fingers clawed at the air and the lightning around the burly man in black robes suddenly collapsed. His body fell from the sky and his primordial spirit was on the verge of shattering. "Spare me. Upper Cultivator, please spare my life." The burly man in black robes begged for mercy. However, how could Ning Fan spare him? When he wanted to kill Ning Fan, did he ever give Ning Fan the chance to beg for mercy? Rumble, Ning Fan stomped on the ground and directly destroyed the man's physical body. Then, he waved his palm and sucked the man's primordial spirit into his hand. Then, he searched his soul mercilessly. After letting out a series of miserable cries, the burly man's consciousness was gradually erased and he became an idiot. Ning Fan, on the other hand, obtained a large amount of information again. There were even quite a lot of information about the second floor. Break. With a point of his finger, the burly man's primordial spirit was destroyed. A trace of pure silver primordial lightning power that was dyed with gold was devoured by Ning Fan. This trace of half-step void refinement realm primordial lightning was at least equivalent to 10 traces of ordinary divine transformation realm primordial lightning. In the ruins, a dark golden bamboo leaf gently floated down and landed on Ning Fan's palm. The first leaf was in his hands. Other than the first leaf, Ning Fan also obtained a lightning jade. Even though it was also a silver jade, it was surrounded by faint golden light. Its lightning power was more than 10 times stronger than ordinary silver jades. As for the silver jades, there were a total of 26 of them. Ning Fan's gaze swept across the ruins of the battlefield. Other than the corpses of beasts and the sea of blood, there were no other spoils of war. He did not stay any longer. At the end of the bamboo forest, he found the teleportation formation that led to the second floor and stepped into it. 2 hours later, Ning Fan flattened the second floor of the Lightning Tower and killed 35 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits including the Lightning Lord. Another 2 hours later, he broke through the third floor and killed 41 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. 3 hours later, he flattened the fourth floor and killed another 55 Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. As for the dark golden bamboo leaves, he obtained 4 of them. As for the silver jades with lightning power, he obtained 157 of them. After devouring 157 traces of Divine Transformation Realm Primordial Lightning, his Primordial Lightning armor had broken through to the third level of the silver armor. It could now defend against late Divine Transformation Realm attacks. As he was about to enter the fifth floor, Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. In a place with void refinement realm existences, he naturally would not dare to be careless. After stepping into the teleportation formation, a flash of lightning flashed and Ning Fan appeared on the fifth floor of the Lightning Tower. He appeared on a barren desert. As soon as he appeared, he immediately sensed that there was a strong qi hiding 100 zhang away from him. Who's hiding here? The divine star on Ning Fan's glabella flashed. The might of the Tai Su realm spread out and forcefully pushed an old man who was hiding in the void out of the void. After sensing that old man's cultivation base, Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. This old man was actually a mid-void refinement realm old monster. After being pushed out of the void by Ning Fan, the old man opened his sleepy eyes and yawned. Then, he scolded angrily. Damn it! Who's so bored as to disturb my sleep? I am Lei Shi. I'm resting here just fine. Who's the one making a ruckus outside? Chapter 4:15. Ning Fan was stunned. This old man who was constantly cursing had such a strong aura force. He was actually a void inquiry stage old monster. However, judging from this person's words, this person had been hiding here before and had no ill intentions towards him. He had only been sleeping. Thinking about it carefully, it made sense. The landing point of Ning Fan's teleportation from the 4th floor to the 5th floor was random. How was it possible for someone to hide and ambush him in advance? This old man was just sleeping in this place. That was all. He did not have the intention to attack Ning Fan at all. The old man could only blame himself for choosing the wrong place to sleep, as he had to choose the place where Ning Fan landed. Any cultivator who had just arrived at a certain place and suddenly discovered an expert hiding beside them would feel nervous. Ning Fan did not directly kill the elderly man. Instead, he forced him to reveal his concealment. That was already giving him a lot of face. Why would a void inquiry stage old monster appear on the 5th floor of the Lightning Tower? According to Hong Yi's information and the memories of the Lightning Lord of the 4th floor, there shouldn't be any void inquiry stage experts in the first 10 floors of the Lightning Tower. Could it be that this old man was an expert who had descended from the 10th level and above? Is his name Lei Shi? While Ning Fan was deep in thought, he activated the lightning star and lightning diagram to guard against any sudden attacks from the elderly man. A void inquiry stage old monster could fight against several void glimpse stage experts. Even though he had killed 3 void glimpse stage experts in succession, he had absolutely no chance of winning against a void inquiry stage expert. At most, he could use the heaven-deceiving cloak to conceal himself and protect himself. Surprisingly, even though the old man's dream was disrupted by Ning Fan and he was filled with resentment, after he gave Ning Fan a deep look, all of his killing intent was dispelled. Ning Fan was observing the elderly man while the latter was also observing him. He sensed a hint of danger from Ning Fan's lightning star. He did not know that it was the Tai Su lightning star, but he knew that it had a heaven-defying restraining effect on him. The elderly man rolled his eyes. After seeing Ning Fan's strength, he actually did not want to be his enemy anymore. The old man cracked open his mouth, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. His smile was rather wretched as he cupped his fists towards Ning Fan. "Little friend, you're not weak. Hee, you're a dead spirit cultivator from the lower 4 floors. I'm Lei Shi from the 11th floor. How about we become friends?" 11th floor. Ning Fan's eyes narrowed. This old man was indeed an expert from the 10th floor. This person was angry at first, but after examining him, he was smiling and amiable. He was probably shocked by him. This person was rather powerful. Since he did not plan to attack, Ning Fan would not take the initiative to attack a mid-void refinement realm cultivator either. As for the old man's suggestion to make friends, Ning Fan was non-committal and cupped his fists. Farewell. After saying his goodbyes, he was actually about to leave. Ning Fan had no intention of befriending the old man. He had only come here for the thunder leaf and did not want to cause any trouble. "Are you collecting dark gold bamboo leaves?" The old man's eyes suddenly flashed, and all of the wretched look on his face disappeared. Ning Fan did not answer. His eyes became serious again. He was secretly surprised. How did this old man know that he was collecting dark golden bamboo leaves? Don't be nervous. This old man just smelled the scent of bamboo leaves from your body. That's all. Hee, this old man's nose has always been very sensitive, and not only did this old man smell the bamboo leaves, he even smelled the scent of thunder jades. 156, no, 157 silver jades. Among them, 4 of them have almost reached the standard of golden jade. Little friend, you are very rich, hee. As soon as the old man mentioned the word money, his eyes suddenly turned fiery. I don't understand what you mean. Ning Fan's tone was cold. Inwardly, however, he was a little surprised. This old man is really good. He can even smell how many silver jades I have. Thunder jades are the supreme treasures that undead spirits use to increase their cultivation base. They are also the currency of the 10th floor and above. On the 11th floor, those who possess 100 silver jades are all void refinement realm experts. Judging from your expression, you don't seem to have heard that thunder jades are the currency of the upper floors? The old man was slightly surprised. It's my first time coming to the 5th floor. No wonder. No wonder. So that's how it is. Hee hee. Hee hee. The old man rubbed his hands and his mind was racing. He could see that Ning Fan's cultivation base was at the half-step void refinement realm, but he only treated him as an undead spirit. Naturally, he could not understand why a divine transformation realm undead spirit with 157 silver jades would not devour them. To an undead spirit, 157 silver jades was an extremely large amount of magic power. Or could it be that Ning Fan did not have the intention to devour the silver jades in the first place and he was just using them as currency? However, Ning Fan had never been to the 10th floor and above. It was very strange that he did not know the rules of the upper floors. The old man became even more puzzled, but he no longer thought about these details. At this moment, he only had one thought in his mind. Ning Fan had quite a lot of money. He had 157 silver jades in total and his strength was not bad. Ning Fan could become one of his customers. Lei Shi was a merchant. A merchant who roamed the 11th floor. What he was most passionate about was to exchange the useless trash of the upper floors for thunder jades from the experts of the lower floors. Of course, the transaction also depended on the target. If Ning Fan was slightly weaker, Lei Shi could directly kill him and snatch his jade. Why would he need to make a transaction? However, Ning Fan was able to force him out of his invisibility and gave him a sense of danger. This made Lei Shi rather fearful and he did not have the intention to look down on Ning Fan at all. In that case, it would be safer for him to conduct a legitimate transaction. It would be best if he did not become Ning Fan's enemy. Hee hee. This old man is Lei Shi. How should I address you, little friend? Zhou Ming. Oh, it's little friend Zhou. Little friend, you have quite a lot of money. Are you interested in buying some things? I'm a merchant and I have quite a lot of good things with me. All of them were exchanged from the 11th floor. Perhaps, there might be something that you need. Buy your things. What do you have? Ning Fan was slightly stunned. He had obtained a lot of thunder jades from killing the undead spirits. However, these thunder jades were useless to him. As it turned out, the thunder jades that were completely useless to him could also be used to buy things. That would be great. As soon as Lei Shi saw that Ning Fan was interested, he immediately revealed a greedy smile. He knew that business had come to him. He untied his storage pouch and took out some miscellaneous items. There was no lack of magic treasures, pills and cultivation methods. Undead spirits did not know how to refine weapons or concoct pills. These pills and magic treasures belonged to the dead. Most of the magic treasures were damaged and their power was greatly reduced. Many of the pills had expired and their medicinal power was lost. However, to undead spirits, these items were extremely rare and precious. Cultivation methods, in particular, were even more precious. To low-level undead spirits, a good cultivation method could totally help them break through to a high level. Unfortunately, none of these items could catch Ning Fan's attention. He was not an undead spirit but an ordinary cultivator. He did not need some broken cultivation methods, damaged magic treasures and expired pills at all. When Lei Shi saw Ning Fan's eyes scanning through the pills and magic treasures without any reluctance, he was slightly surprised. However, there was also admiration in his eyes. He did not even take a liking to these good items. Ning Fan really has a high standard. Perhaps he is an expert. Lei Shi thought to himself. If Ning Fan is an expert, I might have to take out some good items to sell to Ning Fan. Just as this thought rose in his mind, he was nearly choked to death by Ning Fan's words. Oh. You still have primordial lightning? Ning Fan's eyes lit up. He saw tens of primordial lightning in a sealed state in a jade box. These primordial lightning were good items to cultivate the primordial lightning armor. Hee hee. Of course I have primordial lightning. You like this? Lei Shi's eyes revealed a strange expression. Faintly, there was also a hint of disdain. What kind of bullshit expert is he? He doesn't know anything at all. He doesn't like magic treasures and pills, but he likes trash like primordial lightning. What kind of bullshit judgment does he have? In Lei Shi's eyes, primordial lightning was trash. It was pure trash. Due to the special identity of undead spirits, they could not devour primordial lightning. Normally, only a few undead spirits who practiced uncommon cultivation methods could use primordial lightning. Other than this, primordial lightning only had one other useless use. If an undead spirit pays a huge price, it could extract a trace of undead spirit lightning power from primordial lightning and devour it. However, this trace of undead spirit lightning power was only equivalent to 1% of the lightning power of a lightning jade. Paying such a huge price to obtain 1% of the lightning power of a lightning jade was really not worth it. No one would do such a foolish thing. Therefore, primordial lightning was trash to undead spirits. Since Ning Fan liked trash and wanted to buy it, Lei Shi naturally underestimated Ning Fan. How much are you selling primordial lightning for? 3 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Although Lei Shi's heart was filled with disdain, his face was wearing a forthright and generous smile. Selling 3 pieces of trash for 1 silver jade was already a sky-high price. He obviously wanted to scam Ning Fan. Besides, Lei Shi was certain that Ning Fan was a rookie who had never seen the world. It was very easy for him to scam him. 3 lightnings and 1 jade? Ning Fan was slightly surprised. Killing a divine transformation realm dead soul would give him a bolt of primordial lightning and a lightning jade. Normally, primordial lightning and lightning jades should be of equal value. However, Lei Shi's asking price of 3 primordial thunders for 1 piece of silver jade was a little too cheap. Ning Fan could not help but let his imagination run wild. With just a glance, he could tell that primordial lightning was not as precious as silver jade in Lei Shi's eyes. Then, he looked at Lei Shi's expression. Although it was well hidden, there was still a hint of disdain, as if he was mocking Ning Fan for buying trash. Ning Fan guessed inwardly. Could it be that among the undead spirits, primordial lightning is not very useful and is extremely cheap? 10 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan tried to bargain. What? 10 thunders and 1 jade? Little friend, selling 3 primordial lightning for 1 silver jade is already very cheap. You're selling it at a loss. How can you still have the heart to bargain with me? Lei Shi was stunned. He did not expect that Ning Fan would bargain with him. 20 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan lowered the price again. Wait. 20 thunders for 1 jade, this old man is really suffering a loss. This is just like asking for my life. No way. I can't accept this price. 30 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. Ning Fan became even more certain that primordial lightning was extremely worthless to undead spirits. Wait. Little friend, let's discuss this. Why don't we go back to the previous price? 10 traces of primordial lightning for 1 silver jade. What do you think? Lei Shi's eyes were filled with anxiety. Ning Fan was haggling too fiercely. The price was getting lower and lower. 40, wait. 30 traces of primordial lightning for 1 jade. Deal. Lei Shi finally made the final decision. He was really afraid of Ning Fan. If he continues to bargain with him, perhaps even 100 traces of primordial lightning would not be able to be sold for 1 silver jade in the end. Lei Shi stared at Ning Fan deeply. He could already tell that Ning Fan was not a fool and would not be tricked easily. However, he could not understand why an undead spirit with a normal intelligence would be willing to use the incomparably precious lightning jades to buy a pile of trash. Forget it. What's the point of thinking about this? Lei Shi shook his head. After all, primordial lightning was just trash to him. As long as he could sell it to Ning Fan and earn some money, he would not care about what use Ning Fan had for it. I have a total of 1,200 traces of primordial lightning. That's 40 silver jades. Lei Shi passed a storage pouch to Ning Fan and said with a smile while rubbing his hands. If you have more primordial lightning in the future, sell all of them to me. Ning Fan paid 40 silver jades and smiled in satisfaction. Don't worry. I will return to the 11th floor now and purchase as much primordial lightning as I can. I will sell all of them to you. This is my Thunder Sound Jade. If I manage to purchase enough primordial lightning, I will certainly contact you again. The elderly man patted his chest and guaranteed. With Lei Shi's connections, it was definitely not difficult to purchase some primordial lightning from the 11th floor. Moreover, the purchase price was definitely lower than the price of 100 lightning jades. As for trash, he could probably get some from many places. Being able to sell trash like primordial lightning to Ning Fan at a high price of 30 lightning jades for 1 jade, Lei Shi was very satisfied. He decided to buy more trash. Perhaps, Ning Fan liked to buy trash. Lei Shi's mood was also Ning Fan's mood. To Lei Shi, primordial thunder was trash. To Ning Fan, the lightning jades were the useless trash. Be it silver-grade lightning jades or gold-grade lightning jades, Ning Fan could not devour any of them like the undead spirits. Ning Fan had definitely made a profit by exchanging 40 pieces of trash for 1,200 traces of primordial lightning. If Jiang Yi could refine all 1,200 traces of essence lightning, his thunder armor could easily break through to the 4th tier. He might even be able to advance from silver armor to gold armor. If he were to collect 1,200 traces of primordial lightning by himself, he would need to kill 1,200 divine transformation realm experts all by himself. Leaving aside the danger and difficulty, killing 1,200 soul formation cultivators would require a huge amount of time to find them. How could he have the time? Lei Shi. This profiteer is quite useful to me. With him around, I don't have to spend so much effort to look for primordial lightning. Ning Fan muttered to himself. His gaze briefly swept past Lei Shi's miscellaneous items before a flash appeared in his eyes again. In the pile of miscellaneous goods, he saw a ball of dark green cold air. That ball of cold energy was placed in the corner by Lei Shi like it was trash, as if he didn't care about it at all. However, to Ning Fan, this item was definitely not trash. Heavenly Frost Cold Chi. Ning Fan was slightly surprised. He did not expect to find a type of Heavenly Frost Cold Chi in this place. Since he came across it, he naturally had to buy it. However, his expression did not change at all. Instead, he pointed at the Heavenly Frost Cold Chi and asked casually. What is this? How much is it? Oh. Little friend, you're asking about this? This is a type of 5th grade Cold Chi. As for its specific type, I don't really know. Little friend, you should know that Cold Chi belongs to the water element while we are all undead spirits. We were born in lightning towers and our bodies belong to the lightning element. To us, treasures of the water element are completely useless. Little friend, do you want to buy it? Lei Shi's eyes lit up. As expected, his judgment was right. Ning Fan was a strange person. Even though he was not easy to scam, he loved to buy all kinds of trash. What use is a 5th grade Cold Chi to undead spirits? Only an idiot would use lightning jades to exchange for Cold Chi. However, if Ning Fan wants to be an idiot, Lei Shi would have no objection at all. Since he could tell that Ning Fan wanted this Cold Chi, even if it was worthless, Lei Shi would still boast about it to the heavens. Hee hee. Little friend, you have good eyesight. Even though this Cold Chi is useless to undead spirits like us, it can be refined into magic treasures and slightly increase their power. However, this item is the relic of my beloved wife. It always makes me think of her when I see it. I really can't bear to sell this item. Unfortunately, little friend really wants it. Thus, I have no choice but to reluctantly part with it. The friendship price is 20 pieces of silver jade. 5 pieces of silver jade. Ning Fan said indifferently, ignoring Lei Shi's long-winded speech. Little friend, selling this cold chi for 5 pieces of silver jade is really a little low. 3 pieces of silver jade. Ning Fan began to lower the price. Fine. 3 pieces of silver jade. Deal. The elderly man became smarter this time. If he continues to compete, this cold chi would never be able to be sold for a single piece of silver jade. After all, it was just trash. It was already worth it to be able to sell it for 3 pieces of silver jade. Why would he not sell it? How could Lei Shi not sell it? He became even more determined that he must buy countless pieces of trash in the future and sell all of them to Ning Fan, the king of trash. Ning Fan paid the money and kept the heavenly cold chi. Being despised by Lei Shi made him feel uncomfortable. However, seeing that Lei Shi had sold him quite a lot of good items, he decided not to be calculative with him. 40 pieces of silver jade in exchange for 1,200 pieces of primordial lightning. He had made a huge profit. A piece of silver jade in exchange for a type of heavenly cold chi. If the cultivators in the outside world find out about this good thing, they would certainly rush here to exchange for the cold chi regardless of the cost. Other than the undead spirits who lived in the Black Lightning Tower like Lei Shi, who else would treat the heavenly cold chi as trash? The heavenly cold chi was too much of a waste, hee. I'm leaving now. When I find some good stuff, I'll come and trade with little friend. Lei Shi smiled wretchedly and left in a flash. Ning Fan ignored him. He just stared at the ball of dark green cold chi in his palm and tried to identify it carefully. The heavenly cold chi is ranked 2nd. Long emotion tear. A tear can make love long and a tear can cut off love. It is said that if a cultivator refines this cold chi, their Tao heart will be as firm as a rock. They will be like a young lady who longs for love for a long time and will not be disturbed by anything. With its miraculous effect of consolidating one's Tao heart, this item can be sold for at least 500 million immortal jade in the endless sea. What a joke. That Lei Shi really doesn't know what's good for him. The saying, buying a casket and returning the pearls, is exactly what he is talking about. Chapter 4:16. Ning Fan had to admit that his luck was really good. Meeting Lei Shi and exchanging his useless lightning jades for many good items was really a fortunate thing. After entering the profound Yin world, he refined the primordial lightning and cold chi with the help of 100 times faster cultivation speed. In just half a day, Ning Fan left the world and his chi improved slightly. After refining the eternal emotions tier, Ning Fan's magic power increased by 1,000 units. The number of heavenly cold chi in his body had increased to 9 types. 1,000 units of magic power was just a drop in the ocean to Ning Fan, who had more than 600,000 units of magic power. However, there was another effect of the eternal emotions tier that satisfied him. The second-ranked heavenly cold chi had the miraculous effect of helping a cultivator to calm their mind and focus. After consuming it, Ning Fan felt his entire body become cool. When he cultivated, there was no sign of inner demons and his Tao heart was as firm as ice. No wonder this item was worth 500 million immortal jade. It was indeed worth it. 1,200 traces of primordial lightning were refined by Ning Fan. The first 500 traces of primordial lightning were refined into the primordial lightning armor, causing the silver light of the armor to become brighter. It had already broken through to the 4th level of the silver armor. The remaining 700 traces of primordial lightning helped the armor to break through to the peak of the 4th level. Traces of golden lightning began to appear on the armor. When all 1,200 traces of primordial lightning were refined, his armor was almost completely golden in color. Only 1 or 2 traces of silver lightning remained. If the silver lightning completely disappears and turns into golden lightning, this lightning armor would be able to break through the golden armor and defend against a void glimpse stage attack. Armor covering. On the desert, Ning Fan summoned his lightning armor with a thought. The primordial lightning armor could protect one's primordial spirit when it is not used. When it is summoned, it could protect one's entire body. With the faint golden lightning armor protecting his body, Ning Fan looked like a golden god. Golden lightning flashed around his body. When the golden light spread, it attracted countless undead spirits who were trying to attack him. The golden lightning was like a delicacy that lured the undead spirits to come to him. A trace of solemn killing intent flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. He took a step forward and turned into a ray of golden lightning, starting a massacre. He rushed into the encirclement of the undead spirits. The least of them were at the nascent soul realm while the strongest ones were at the peak divine transformation realm. All of them activated their lightning magic techniques. Countless attacks, but none of them could break the defense of the lightning armor. As Ning Fan's sword sense swept across the area, groups of nascent souls were minced into pieces. He formed hand seals, and layers of black dragon tombstones pressed down, crushing countless dead spirits to death. His eyes were cold, as if he had returned to the trials in the Blood Sea. He opened his mouth and swallowed 17 bolts of primordial lightning, then put away 17 lightning jades with a flick of his sleeve. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He released his aura force along the way and dashed towards the lightning lord of the 5th floor. Along the way, more and more dead spirits followed the golden lightning. They tried to kill Ning Fan and seize the golden lightning. However, the price of greed was death. Chi! 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 Streaks of black sword light spread out on the 5th floor. Many blood-colored lightning whips lashed at the soul formation undead spirits. There were more experts on the 5th floor than on the first 4 floors combined. After killing 100,000 nascent soul realm cultivators and 105 divine transformation realm cultivators, Ning Fan appeared outside a gigantic palace. In the huge palace, an old man in a dragon robe had a gloomy expression. He was the lightning master of the 5th level of the lightning tower. He had received several pieces of information that claimed that an undead spirit from the lower levels had broken into the 5th floor and was slaughtering everyone there. He also heard that the madman who killed people like flies possessed a secret technique called the Golden Lightning Armor. The strength of the lightning armor was enough to defend against all divine transformation realm attacks. The life tablets of his subordinates who were sent to kill Ning Fan were shattered one after another. The eyes of the old man in dragon robe were filled with anger. When he sensed that Ning Fan had arrived outside the gigantic palace, he was so angry that he laughed instead. He slammed the table and rose to his feet. "Brat, how dare you? I didn't come looking for you but you came to me yourself. Hand over the secret technique of the lightning armor and I will keep your corpse intact. Hand over the dark golden bamboo leaf and I will keep your corpse intact. You're courting death." Boom! The old man in dragon robe became even more furious. He took a step forward and the terrifying magic power of a void glimpse stage cultivator directly shattered the gigantic palace, leaving only a pile of rubble. His surging aura force turned into a golden lightning dragon and rushed towards Ning Fan. Looking at the incoming golden lightning dragon, Ning Fan did not dodge it at all. Instead, he allowed the lightning rays of the lightning dragon to engulf him. "Humph! This is the consequence of resisting me," the old man in dragon robe sneered. He could tell that Ning Fan was just a half-step void refinement realm cultivator with just a glance. In his opinion, a mere half-step void refinement realm cultivator would certainly die if he was struck head-on by his golden lightning dragon transformation technique. The only pity was that he had to kill Ning Fan before he could interrogate him about his secret technique. However, before he could be complacent for too long, his expression suddenly changed. The boundless golden lightning rays that were attacking Ning Fan were weakening and disappearing at a terrifying speed. What exactly happened? Why did my golden lightning disappear? The old man in dragon robe was extremely shocked. His Golden Lightning Dragon transformation technique was always effective against Void Glimpse stage experts at the same level as him. Why did such an anomaly happen today? Of course, he did not know that Ning Fan had condensed the Tai Su Lightning Star and possessed the Tai Su Lightning Diagram technique. Thus, he could devour lightning rays of the same level without suffering any damage. Ning Fan was not afraid at all in the Sea of Golden Lightning. After devouring 105 traces of primordial lightning, his lightning armor had completely erased all the silver lightning and turned into a pure faint golden color. The grade of his lightning armor was already at the peak of the silver grade. It was not far from breaking through to the first level of the golden grade. He was just one step away from breaking through to the first level of the golden grade. The key to breaking through was to kill the old man in dragon robes and devour the lightning of his primordial spirit. Even if he had not broken through to the golden grade, the current strength of his lightning armor could almost completely defend against the old man's lightning attacks. Now that he was outside the Sea of Lightning, he would be unharmed even if he did not summon his natal star. As the lightning beneath his feet moved, a blood-red lightning diagram that stretched for 10,000 li unfolded like a scroll. At the moment the lightning diagram appeared, the golden lightning in the sky was completely devoured by it. The full-powered attack of the old man in dragon robes was completely broken just like that. Tai Su Lightning Diagram. The old man's heart was filled with deep shock. He finally understood why his lightning technique could not hurt Ning Fan at all and was devoured instead. The Tai Su Lightning Diagram could devour all lightning of the same level. After Ning Fan condensed his golden lightning armor, his comprehension of the Tao of Lightning had already broken through the silver lightning grade and reached the golden lightning grade. The old man in dragon robes who also controlled golden lightning definitely could not hurt Ning Fan with his golden lightning. The Lightning Emperor once said that the one who possesses the Tai Su Lightning Diagram could become the Lord of all lightning. Throughout my cultivation journey, my magic power has always been lightning. Even though my cultivation base is at the void refinement realm, all lightning power is restrained by this young man. Magic techniques and magic treasures can't hurt him at all. In that case, I can only rely on my physical body to determine the winner and loser. The old man sneered. His physical body was already at the 4th level of Jade Life Realm. With just his physical body alone, he could fight against a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert. In addition to that, he had an extremely high-grade body technique. It should not be difficult for him to suppress Ning Fan. The old man took a step forward and his physical body grew to 1,000 zhang. After taking 10 steps, his physical body had already grown to 5,000 zhang. He turned into a giant in dragon robes and walked towards Ning Fan, crushing mountains and rivers with each of his steps. When he breathed in the clouds, he had the momentum to devour mountains and rivers. When he slammed his palm down on Ning Fan's head, it had the tremendous force to split mountains and overturn seas. Trying to suppress me with your physical body, huh? Unfortunately, you're too weak. Ning Fan sneered. He stepped on the lightning diagram and his physical body grew taller. After taking 10 steps, he turned into a 5,000 zhang tall golden-armored giant. You're actually also a body cultivator at the 4th level of Jade Life Realm. The old man was slightly surprised, but he did not think that he would lose to Ning Fan. When the elderly man threw a punch, Ning Fan also responded with a punch of his own. Both of them were at the 4th level of Jade Life Realm, but the moment they exchanged blows, the bones in the fist of the old man were shattered into pieces. A huge force shattered the bones in his arm and shook his chest, causing his giant body to be pushed back 100 miles. Only then did he manage to stabilize his body. However, he was already severely injured. On the other hand, Ning Fan did not even take half a step back after throwing out a punch. The force of the elderly man's punch could not even break the defense of Ning Fan's lightning armor. One punch. With just a single punch, the elderly man in dragon robes was able to determine the winner between him and Ning Fan. His physical body was much weaker than Ning Fan's. The strength of your punch is definitely at the pinnacle of the Jade Life Realm. No, it's even higher than the pinnacle of the Jade Life Realm. It's almost equivalent to a strike from a golden body realm cultivator. You have a good eye. My fist strength is already infinitely close to a golden body. Ning Fan's eyes were as bright as the sun and moon. With a single step, he crossed 100 li and caught up to the elderly man in dragon robes. Then, he threw out 100 fist shadows in one go. The sky darkened with a single punch. The 10 fists mountain shook. With 100 punches, the sky collapsed and the earth crumbled. After receiving 100 punches from Ning Fan, all of the muscles and bones in the old man's body were crushed. His blood flowed like a river and flooded the wasteland. His breathing was weak and he was on the verge of death. His face was filled with fear. A dignified void glimpse stage cultivator was actually afraid of a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. If word of this got out, it would really be a joke. However, reality was cruel. His magic power was restrained by the lightning diagram and his physical body was weaker than Ning Fan's. He had no chance of winning against Ning Fan at all. You can't kill me. This old man is Su Longzi, the younger brother of the 24th floor's lightning lord, Ing Longzi. If you kill me, you'll be hunted down by the 10th floor's lightning tower. 24th floor's thunder lord Ning Fan was still as indifferent as before. He was not affected by Ing Longzi's reputation at all. This scene turned into despair in Su Longzi's eyes. Su Longzi could already see that Ning Fan would not be threatened at all. Even though his clan elder brother was the #1 expert among the Void Inquiry stage experts in the Lightning Tower, he still could not make Ning Fan fear him. Despair eventually turned into madness. Su Longzi was also a powerful individual. If begging for mercy was not wrong, he could only fight Ning Fan to the death. He muttered some incantations and 2 dragon horns slowly emerged on his head. His body shook and the lightning light turned into pieces of golden scales. When the golden scales spread, he turned into a 5,000 zhang large golden lightning dragon. His dragon eyes flashed with a hint of madness. By revealing his true form, he was going to risk his life to fight Ning Fan. Dragon-breaking roar. Roar. Rays of golden light dragon roared and turned into golden halos that spread out and attacked Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with indifference. No matter how powerful this sound wave technique was, it was still the same as the essence of the golden lightning power. There was nothing to be afraid of. Ning Fan's 5,000 zhang large golden armored giant took a step forward and the lightning diagram beneath his feet shattered into traces of blood-red lightning light. At the next moment, a massive lightning diagram condensed in Ning Fan's palm. It was a 10,000 zhang long scroll. The blood-red lightning was the brush and ink. Ancient lightning runes were drawn on the scroll. The golden armored giant held the lightning diagram in his hand and swept it towards the golden dragon. The lightning diagram spread out and kept the golden dragon into the scroll. When the scroll closed, the lightning diagram turned back into a scroll and was held in the giant's palm. The golden dragon inside the scroll immediately let out a blood-curdling scream. Then, its screams gradually became softer. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with indifference. He opened the lightning diagram again and shook it. Traces of golden ashes were shaken out of the lightning diagram. Judging from the situation, Ning Fan had actually kept the severely injured Su Longzi into the lightning diagram and turned him into ashes on the ground. What a terrifying Tai Su lightning diagram. The Tai Su lightning diagram can be used for both offense and defense. If it's used for defense, it will turn into a formation that is placed under my feet. If it's used for offense, it will turn into a scroll that can capture all lightning cultivators in the world. With a single thought, it will turn them into ashes. This is the punishment technique that Lightning Emperor Tai Su used to control lightning in the ancient times. Even though this technique is powerful, it is only effective against lightning cultivators. Moreover, the cultivation level of the lightning cultivators killed cannot be too much higher than mine. With my current cultivation level, I can only use this diagram to kill lightning cultivators below the void refinement realm. I can't kill Su Longzi. However, Su Longzi has already been severely injured by me and is on the verge of death. Therefore, it's not surprising that he was kept into this diagram to be killed. With this diagram, I only need to beat the Void Glimpse stage lightning cultivators half to death and keep them into this diagram. Then, I can kill all Void Glimpse stage lightning cultivators. After dispersing the golden armored giant body and keeping the lightning diagram, Ning Fan beckoned at the sea of blood and drew a golden primordial lightning into his hand. Then, he refined it into his lightning armor. The faint golden lightning armor immediately turned pure gold. At this moment, it had completely broken through to the first level of the golden armor. At the same time, he also obtained a golden lightning jade and a dark golden bamboo leaf as his spoils of war. In this way, he had killed the lightning lord of the 5th floor and raised the 5th floor to the ground. This Su Longzi is quite strong. However, he is a lightning cultivator after all. Thus, he will be completely restrained by me. From the moment I condensed the Tai Su lightning star, I was already the lord of all lightning and could restrain all lightning cultivators. All the Void Glimpse stage lightning cultivators below the 10th floor are nothing to fear. The one I need to pay attention to is Su Longzi's clan brother, the lightning lord of the 24th floor, Ing Longzi. Since this Ing Longzi could become the lightning lord of the 24th floor, his cultivation base must be at the Void Inquiry stage. Moreover, he is probably an unrivaled being among the Void Inquiry stage experts. With my current strength, it is absolutely impossible for me to kill him. However, it is also impossible for him to kill me. I have the heaven-deceiving cloak and many other means. Even if I have to face Ing Longzi's pursuit personally, I will not suffer any injuries. Why don't I go all out and kill my way to the 24th floor in one go? As soon as this thought popped up in his mind, it was immediately extinguished by Ning Fan. He was still in a hurry to complete Hong Yi's mission to obtain 7 dark golden bamboo leaves and exchange them for a golden leaf to heal Yulinkong. Thus, he did not have the time to kill too many people. The dark golden bamboo leaves could also heal one's primordial spirit and save Yulinkong. However, after witnessing the dark golden bamboo leaves with his own eyes, Ning Fan realized that there were 2 difficulties that prevented him from using the dark golden bamboo leaves to save people. Firstly, with the medicinal power of the dark golden bamboo leaves, he would need at least 100,000 years old spiritual herbs. Those were immortal herbs that would only be used to concoct 7th revolution pills. Ning Fan did not have a single one of them. Secondly, the medicinal power of the dark golden bamboo leaves was too strong. It was not something that a void refinement realm cultivator could consume. Perhaps only a person with Hong Yi's identity would be able to get some 100,000 years old spiritual herbs to mix with the dark golden bamboo leaves. However, Ning Fan had some doubts. Hong Yi. If this lady is just a void refinement realm cultivator, can she really endure the terrifying medicinal power of the dark golden bamboo leaves? I just feel that she seems to be hiding something from me. Forget it. I'm not interested in finding out what secrets this lady has. If she has nothing to do with Hong Hong, it will also have nothing to do with me. What I should be concerned about is to kill my way to the 7th floor as soon as possible. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with killing intent. He took a step into the teleportation formation and entered the 6th floor. At the moment he entered the 6th floor, he immediately patted his storage pouch and summoned 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets. After healing the injured spiritual puppets, he immediately went on a killing spree with all his might. As his techniques increased, void glimpse stage cultivators were no longer as scary as before. Below the 10th floor, he could do whatever he wanted. 3 days later. On the 24th floor of the Lightning Tower, a 6,000 zhang long yellow dragon with a pair of wings was entrenched in the lightning swamp. It seemed to be in a deep sleep. A black armored guard knelt on the ground and reported something. At a certain moment, after hearing his subordinate's report, his eyes suddenly flashed with killing intent. Su Longzi is actually dead. Someone, go and investigate for me. Find out who did this. I want this person to disappear from the Black Lightning Tower forever. Your Majesty, there's no need to investigate further. I know who did this. In just a few days, the first floor to the 9th floor of the Lightning Tower has been razed to the ground. All of them were witnessed by some low-grade undead spirits. The murderer is this person. Swoosh. The black-armored guard opened a scroll which had Ningfan's appearance. As soon as it saw his face, the 6,000 zhang yellow dragon narrowed its eyes and said coldly. This person is the culprit. Very good. Pass my order. All the undead spirits below the 24th floor are to use all your strength to hunt down this evil being. No mistakes are allowed. Within 3 days, I want to see this evil being's head and offer it to my deceased brother's soul. Chapter 4:17. Within 3 days, Ningfan was like a strong gust of wind that swept through the entire 9th floor. Killing, especially in this place where he had nothing to worry about, was not difficult at all for him. It was especially so in this place where lightning cultivators gathered. By relying on the lightning restraining divine effect of the Tai Su lightning diagram and the ferocious might of the 3 spiritual puppets that could slaughter void refinement realm cultivators, even a void glimpse stage cultivator would die for sure. Ningfan alone was enough to eliminate Su Longzi. With the addition of the 3 puppets, whichever floor they descend upon would be a calamity for that floor. There was only one void glimpse stage lightning lord on the 6th floor. After being besieged by Ningfan and his 3 puppets, he was directly killed. There were 2 void glimpse stage experts on the 7th floor. However, they were still not Ningfan's match and both of them were killed. On the 8th floor, 2 void glimpse stage experts were also killed. There were a total of 3 void glimpse stage experts on the 9th floor. One escaped while the other 2 died. From the 6th to the 9th floor, he had killed a total of 7 void glimpse stage experts. After a careful count, there were already 11 void refinement realm experts who had died in his hands. 500 traces of divine transformation realm primordial lightning and 7 traces of void glimpse stage primordial lightning fell into Ningfan's hands. He also put away the silver and gold grade thunder jades. Perhaps he could use them the next time he traded with Lei Shi. With such a large amount of primordial lightning, his lightning armor could only advance 2/3 of the way to the 2nd level. He would need to kill at least 6 void glimpse stage experts or 600 divine transformation realm experts before his lightning armor could advance to the 2nd level. Even if he had yet to break through to the 2nd level, the defense of this lightning armor was already extremely terrifying. No void glimpse stage cultivators below the 9th level could break the defense of this lightning armor at all. Ningfan already had 9 pieces of dark golden bamboo leaves in his hands. It was more than enough to complete Hong Yi's mission. According to the intelligence, there were a total of 4 void glimpse stage experts guarding the 1st floor of the Lightning Tower. 4 void glimpse stage experts. Even Ningfan was not willing to take the risk. At this moment, he was already prepared to leave. However, when he looked at the thunder sound jade in his hand, he realized that Lei Shi still had not contacted him. He could not help but feel a little disappointed. It seemed like he would not be able to trade with Lei Shi again before he left. Originally, he was prepared to use the useless lightning jades to exchange for some treasures from Lei Shi. After all, Ningfan was not a void refinement realm cultivator. He was just relying on Kolei and his spiritual puppets to fight. If he is besieged by too many void glimpse stage experts, even he would not be able to win. Having made up his mind, Ningfan returned to the lower level. Then, at that moment, in the sky, a black mass of escaping lightning rays shot toward them with undisguised murderous intent. Ningfan's eyes turned cold. There were at least 1,000 divine transformation realm cultivators and 10 of them were at the void refinement realm or above. The void refinement realm experts on the 9th floor should have already died. Without a doubt, these experts were all from the 10th floor and above. How dare you? How dare you attacking Long's brother? You're courting death. The void glimpse stage cultivator in the lead was none other than the lightning lord of the 10th floor of the lightning tower. He released his overbearing aura force, which turned into a sky-piercing gigantic mountain that pressed down on Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He immediately understood that these experts had come for the Lightning Lord of the 4th floor, Su Longzi. The 24th floor's Lightning Lord. Ing Longzi. This person is really powerful. He actually sent out such a large force just to deal with Ning Fan alone. He actually managed to make so many Void Glimpse stage experts acknowledge him as their king. One of the experts unleashed his aura force to suppress Ning Fan while the other experts displayed their secret techniques one after another. All of them attacked Ning Fan's primordial spirit with their secret techniques. All of them were techniques to attack one's nascent soul. Facing the joint attack of 10 Void Refinement Realm experts, even the Tai Su lightning diagram could not devour all the lightning. Seeing that Ning Fan could not fight against so many experts with just 2 fists, the 10 Void Refinement Realm experts were certain that Ning Fan would definitely die. However, at this moment, a black cloak suddenly appeared on top of Ning Fan's white robes. His figure disappeared right before the eyes of countless experts. Impossible. This young man is clearly just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. Why is his concealment technique so strong? Even us Void Glimpse stage experts can't find his whereabouts. Rumor has it that the reason why this young man could sweep through the first 9 floors was because he had 3 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets. His own strength is not worth mentioning. Now, it seems that it is definitely not the case. This young man's techniques are extremely difficult to deal with. However, just this concealment technique alone is enough to make us unable to find him. We must search for him even if we can't find him. Otherwise, how are we going to explain this to King Yinglong? The group of Void Glimpse stage experts wore grim expressions. They tried several magic techniques to break Ning Fan's concealment technique, but none of them could find him at all. The heaven-deceiving cloak was of the profound divinity grade. It could even block Void Fragmentation Realm spirit sense. How could 10 Void Glimpse stage experts find Ning Fan? They could not find Ning Fan's whereabouts, but they had an idea. A large group of them guarded the teleportation formation connecting the 9th floor to the 8th floor tightly, waiting for Ning Fan to walk into their trap. While this large group of experts was searching for Ning Fan, he had already fled 1 million li away. His eyes were filled with intense killing intent. Even though this group of experts could not find him, they had sealed the path to the lower floors. As such, unless Ning Fan kills all 10 Void Glimpse stage experts, he would not be able to leave the Lightning Tower. Ing Longzi, you will definitely regret not letting me go. Ning Fan's traveling light did not move towards the teleportation formation of the 8th floor. Instead, he moved towards the teleportation formation of the 10th floor. He was not going to leave. He was determined to teach Ing Longzi a lesson. With so many experts descending to the lower floors, the defense of the 10th floor would certainly be weak. The massacre began. While countless experts were guarding the path to the 8th floor, the 10th floor was plunged into a bloody calamity. The Lightning Lord of the 10th floor only brought a Void Glimpse stage expert with him to the lower floors. Other than the 2 of them, the other 8 Void Glimpse stage experts were experts of the 11th floor and above. There were only 2 Void Glimpse stage experts left on the 10th floor. They were looking after the dark golden bamboo leaf on behalf of the Lightning Lord of the 10th floor while discussing something. The topic they were discussing was actually related to Ning Fan. That madman dared to kill King Yinglong's younger brother. He was really courting death. I'm afraid he is already dead by now. Hee hee. Since the Lightning Lord is personally taking action, how can he not win? Unfortunately, we can't participate in the mission this time. Otherwise, if we can kill that hoe with our own hands, we will certainly make a great contribution in front of King Yinglong. King Yinglong is the strongest Void Inquiry stage expert in the Black Lightning Tower. It's just a matter of time before he attains the Void Pierce stage. Once he attains the Void Pierce stage, he will certainly be the strongest expert in the first 36 floors. If I can befriend an expert of this level, what's the harm in chasing after a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert? While the two of them were chatting and laughing, a series of miserable cries and sounds of battle suddenly resounded from the outside world. All the smiles on their faces froze. The two of them roared in shock and anger. Who is so audacious to come to my 10th floor and cause trouble? The 10th floor was the strongest floor in the first 10 floors. No undead spirit had ever dared to come here and cause trouble. In a flash, the two of them flew out of the palace and scanned their surroundings coldly. They wanted to see what kind of audacious madman was bold enough to come here and court death. As soon as they saw the intruder, they could not hide their astonishment. They saw a figure in white robes and golden armor coldly walking through the mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Wherever he passed by, he would attack aggressively, killing countless undead spirits. Beside him, the three black-robed spiritual puppets were also killing their enemies coldly. With the four of them working together, there was not a single nascent soul realm or divine transformation realm expert who could stop them at all. Ning Fan's eyes were cold. His baleful chi covered the sky. Within that baleful chi were the terrifying chi left behind by 11 void refinement realm experts who had died. When Ning Fan's gaze swept across the two void refinement realm experts, their hearts were invaded by the baleful chi and they could no longer remain calm. This madman was obviously surrounded by 10 void refinement realm experts and 1,000 divine transformation realm experts. How did he manage to escape from their encirclement? 11 people. There's no mistake. This man has already killed 11 void refinement realm experts. This young man is extremely dangerous. Retreat quickly and meet up with the Lightning Lord. The two of them wanted to escape but it was too late. The divine star on Ning Fan's glabella flashed and the lightning diagram spread out, covering all the undead spirits within it. His killing intent had already been triggered. Kill. As soon as he gave the order, the three puppets surrounded the two void refinement realm experts. 1 hour later, the entire place was left in ruins. Ning Fan stood on top of the two void refinement realm corpses and devoured 2 traces of blood lightning. His eyes then shifted to the teleportation formation on the 11th floor. The 11th floor might be dangerous, but why would he be afraid? Besides, it seemed like Lei Shi was still on the 11th floor. He wondered if he could still buy primordial lightning from him now. On the 11th floor of the Black Lightning Tower. Ning Fan's deeds spread across the entire lightning tower at a terrifying speed. He destroyed all 10 floors of the lightning tower with his strength alone. Even though he was surrounded by 10 void refinement realm experts, he still managed to escape openly. Even some void inquiry stage old monsters would not dare to belittle his reputation. The Myriad Treasure Pavilion was a certain force on the 11th floor of the Lightning Tower. The master of this force was the famous master of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion, Lei Shi. This Lei Shi had a strange temperament. Even though he was strong, he seemed to be at odds with the Lightning Lord of the 11th floor. He had never befriended any void refinement realm experts of the Lightning Tower. His only hobby was to do business, earn lightning jades and devour lightning jades to improve his cultivation base. Even though he usually haggled over a lightning jade with others, he was definitely the wealthiest cultivator on the first 24 floors. At this moment, in the main hall of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion, Lei Shi was fiddling with a golden lightning abacus. He had a wretched smile on his face while calculating the number of primordial lightning he had just obtained. Chu Nanfeng, this old man contributed 1,700 traces of Divine Transformation Realm Primordial Lightning and 4 traces of Void Refinement Realm Primordial Lightning. Mo Feiyun contributed 3,000 traces of Divine Transformation Realm Primordial Lightning and 7 traces of Void Refinement Realm Primordial Lightning. Old Man Yang contributed 2,500 traces of Void Refinement Realm Primordial Lightning and 5 traces of Void Refinement Realm Primordial Lightning. And, Lei Shi's face lit up with excitement. This time, after returning to the 11th floor, he had purchased a total of 10,000 traces of Divine Transformation Realm Primordial Lightning and 35 traces of Void Refinement Realm Primordial Lightning. If he sells all of these Primordial Lightning to Ning Fan, he would be able to earn a lot of money. In the main hall, the 5 early Void Refinement Realm experts wore strange expressions. All of them were the guest elders of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. They were none other than Chu Nanfeng, Mo Feiyun, and the others whom Lei Shi mentioned. They could not understand why the pavilion master would go through so much trouble to collect such a large amount of primordial lightning. To undead lightning cultivators, these primordial lightning were trash. They really could not understand why the pavilion master would need this item. Pavilion master, may I ask what exactly is the magical use of this item? Chu Nanfeng asked hesitantly. Magical use? How would I know what this lousy item is used for? However, I only know that this item can be sold for money. It won't be difficult to sell it for 400 to 500 silver jades. How can this trash be sold for such a high price? What kind of person would be able to afford 500 silver jades? Could it be that he is also a void inquiry stage old monster? Mo Feiyun asked doubtfully. He's not a void inquiry stage expert. He's just a half-step void refinement realm expert. However, this half-step void refinement realm expert is a little unusual. Even I feel that he won't be easy to deal with. Lei Shi sighed. Pavilion master, you must be joking. How can there be a half-step void refinement realm expert who can resist a void inquiry stage old monster in this world? Old man Yang shook his head and refuted. However, he suddenly stopped talking when he recalled the rumored fanatic who swept through all 10 floors of the Lightning Tower. That person also seemed to be a half-step void refinement realm expert. He had swept through all 10 floors on his own. The reputation of that person made even ordinary void glimpse stage experts fear him. No. The rumor must be false. There is certainly no such powerful half-step void refinement realm expert in this world. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. Old man Yang was unwilling to believe it. The rumor might not be false. An arrogant and forceful voice suddenly resounded from outside the door, interrupting Old Man Yang's words. This voice carried the aura force of a mid-void refinement realm expert. Surprisingly, it belonged to a void inquiry stage old monster. His aura force was even much stronger than Lei Shi's. Lightning Lord. Old Man Yang, Chu Nanfeng, Mo Feiyun, and the others immediately rose to their feet and stared at the newcomer with vigilance. Even Lei Shi's eyes turned gloomy and he said with displeasure. Zhu Feng, why are you here? I heard that you have been collecting primordial lightning wantonly. How ridiculous. What's the point of collecting this kind of trash? Zhu Feng mocked. You didn't answer my question. Lei Shi's eyes became even colder. I came here just to take away your immortal Emperor Lightning Bone. Zhu Feng smiled sinisterly. Why should I give it to you? Lei Shi acted as if he had heard something ridiculous. If you don't hand it over, the Myriad Treasure Pavilion will be destroyed. This is King Yinglong's order. You should know the consequences of disobeying him. I'll give you 1 day to think about it. After 1 day, I hope to hear a satisfactory answer. Zhu Feng sneered and left swiftly, leaving the experts in the hall with a solemn expression. Lei Shi's eyes turned gloomy. The feeling of being threatened was very unpleasant. While everyone was silent, a subordinate suddenly rushed into the main hall anxiously. His forehead was full of sweat. Pavilion Master, be bad news, what's wrong? What happened this time? Lei Shi said with displeasure. He's here. The subordinate seemed to have seen something extremely terrifying. Who's here? Before Lei Shi could get a rough idea of what was going on, a white-robed young man entered the Myriad Treasure Pavilion lightly at the next moment. Fellow Taoist Lei, how have you been? Have you collected all your primordial lightning? This time, I've brought a lot of money with me. As soon as Ning Fan appeared, he released a trace of ferocious aura force. Everyone in the hall was shocked. 13 traces of void refinement realm baleful qi. This young man has such a strong aura force. Is he really a half-step void refinement realm expert? It's him. Wasn't he being hunted down in the lower 10 floors? Why did he come to the 11th floor? Chapter 4:18. On the 11th floor of the Lightning Tower, the Myriad Treasure Pavilion was a well-deserved superforce. The Pavilion Lord, Lei Shi, was a Void Inquiry Stage cultivator, and he had 5 Void Glimpse Stage experts under him. With so many experts around, no one had ever dared to break into the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. The Lightning Lord of the 11th floor, Zhu Feng, naturally had no one who dared to stop him with King Yinglong's influence. However, Ning Fan was just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. How could he pass through the heavy defenses of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion and enter the main hall? Chu Nanfeng, Mo Feiyun, and the other 2 Void Glimpse Stage experts suddenly stood up with cold eyes. They recognized Ning Fan as the person whom King Yinglong was pursuing with all his might. This person had slaughtered all 10 floors of the Lightning Tower all by himself. He was a ferocious devil lord. Ning Fan's baleful qi disappeared in a flash, making the 5 of them doubtful. They felt that they were mistaken. Was it an illusion? Could it be that terrifying baleful qi was just an illusion? This young man is just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. It's impossible for him to kill 13 Void Refinement Realm experts with his own hands. Yes. It must be like that. Rumor has it that this young man has 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. The baleful qi on his body must be from the puppets in his hands. He is just a Divine Transformation Realm cultivator after all. As long as he doesn't have time to summon his spiritual puppets, there's nothing to fear about him. With that thought, the 5 of them felt relieved. They could not help but look down on Ning Fan a little. They did not know why Ning Fan trespassed into the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. However, judging from his words, he seemed to be here to make a deal with Lei Shi. If that's the case, this person doesn't seem to be an enemy. With the Pavilion Lord here, no matter if Ning Fan is an enemy or a friend, they do not need to deal with him. Oh. I have just collected some primordial lightning and have yet to contact you with the Thunder Sound Jade. However, you came to my Myriad Treasure Pavilion before me. What a rare guest. Lei Shi put down his golden abacus and looked at Ning Fan meaningfully with a grin. Little friend, you really hid your strength well. You actually managed to sneak into my Myriad Treasure Pavilion without making a sound. I really admire you. Excuse me. Ning Fan smiled faintly. He did not continue the topic of the heaven-deceiving cloak and sat on a seat at the corner of the hall. Seeing that Lei Shi and Ning Fan seemed to be friends, Chu Nanfeng and the other 4 Void Glimpse Stage experts became even calmer. It seemed like Ning Fan did not have any ulterior motives towards the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. He just came here to purchase primordial lightning. The doubts in his heart had been answered. So, the reason why Lei Shi hurriedly returned to the 11th floor and spent so much effort to purchase primordial lightning was just to sell it to Ning Fan? Strange, truly strange. No matter how he looked at it, he was just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. With such a cultivation base, how was it possible for Lei Shi to treat him politely? How was it possible for him to escape from King Yinglong's relentless pursuit? This young man is just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. Even though he has 3 Void Glimpse Stage spiritual puppets, he still has no chance of winning against a Void Inquiry Stage expert and 5 Void Glimpse Stage experts. Why was he so calm? He sat alone in the dangerous Million Treasure Pavilion. Was he not afraid? Are you all very interested in me? Ning Fan sensed the faint spirit sense of the 5 of them. His sword sense shook slightly and repelled their spirit sense. Then, he said with a smile. Hiss. The expressions of the 5 Void Glimpse Stage experts changed. The method Ning Fan used to repel their spirit sense was undoubtedly his sword sense. Besides, the strength of his spirit sense was not any weaker than a Void Glimpse Stage cultivator. Don't be impatient. Little friend Zhou is my guest. Lei Shi glared at the 5 of them. Even he, Lei Shi, felt that Ning Fan's chi was erratic and he found it hard to see through him. If his 5 subordinates could detect Ning Fan's cultivation base, it would really be a miracle. My servants are not very sensible. I apologize for my rudeness. Little friend, are you here to buy primordial lightning? Today, I have prepared 10,000 traces of primordial lightning. I wonder if little friend has brought enough money with him. Lei Shi grinned at Ning Fan again. While he was asking, he sniffed the air gently with his nose. As soon as he sniffed, his eyes lit up. So many lightning jades. It seems like the rumor about little friend slaughtering the 10 floors of the lightning tower is probably true. 10,000 traces of primordial lightning? Ning Fan's expression remained unchanged, but his heart was slightly shocked. He needed at least another 300 traces of primordial lightning to advance his lightning armor. Even though he came to the Million Treasure Pavilion to buy primordial lightning, he did not expect that Lei Shi would actually have so much primordial lightning in his possession. 10,000 traces of primordial lightning were completely enough for his lightning armor to break through to the 2nd level of the golden grade. It might even advance to the 3rd level. Every trace of primordial lightning represented the life of a divine transformation realm undead spirit. If Ning Fan collects 10,000 traces of primordial lightning by himself, he would certainly need to kill 10,000 divine transformation realm undead spirits. He would need to kill at least 50 to 60 floors of the lightning tower in order to gather such a large amount of primordial lightning. This was obviously unrealistic. Inwardly, Ning Fan pondered. If Lei Shi really has 10,000 traces of primordial lightning, the origin of these 10,000 traces of primordial lightning was certainly not from slaughtering undead spirits. Most likely, they were left behind by the divine transformation realm undead spirits who had died in the lightning tower in the past countless years. That's right. I have gathered 10,000 traces of primordial lightning. Hee. I will sell it at the price of 30 traces of primordial lightning per jade and give little friend a discount. Hee. 300 silver jades. What do you think? Lei Shi rubbed his hands excitedly. 300 silver jades. The expressions of the 5 Void Glimpse stage experts changed. As Void Glimpse stage cultivators, each of them only possessed 100 silver jades. The lightning power contained in 300 silver jades was almost the total wealth of 3 Void Glimpse stage cultivators. They could not believe that a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator like Ning Fan would possess so many lightning jades. Moreover, they could not understand why Ning Fan would purchase a pile of useless primordial lightning at such a sky-high price. What they did not know was that the primordial lightning that was useless to undead spirits was the best tonic for Ning Fan to cultivate his lightning armor. Deal. Ning Fan spoke indifferently. In just an instant, he had ended this huge transaction. The final decision was made. Lei Shi took out hundreds of jade boxes that contained primordial lightning and handed them to Ning Fan. Ning Fan, on the other hand, paid 300 silver jades. The entire transaction was done without any hesitation. Chu Nanfeng and the others could not help but click their tongues. It was such a huge transaction, but Ning Fan did not even bargain. What a bold and decisive man. Their contempt towards Ning Fan faded a little. At least, they knew that they did not have such a bold and decisive man. Ning Fan kept the primordial lightning. Once he leaves the Myriad Treasure Pavilion, he would devour primordial lightning to upgrade his lightning armor. Lei Shi kept the 300 silver jades. His heart was burning with excitement. After devouring these silver jades, his magic power would increase by a lot. Everyone was satisfied with the transaction. I wonder if fellow Taoist Lei still has any other good items. It's rare for me to come to the Myriad Treasure Pavilion this time. I still have quite a lot of spare money with me. I want to buy some more treasures. Ning Fan still had 10 golden jades and 800 silver jades. These lightning jades were useless to him. Thus, he was naturally willing to exchange them for some treasures from Lei Shi. When Lei Shi heard Ning Fan's words, he immediately clapped his hands and laughed heartily, like a promiscuous woman who had met her adulterer. Don't worry, little friend. My myriad treasure pavilion lacks many things but not treasures. We will certainly make little friend satisfied. He could smell that Ning Fan still had a large amount of lightning jades with him. He was extremely willing to earn all of these lightning jades. Suddenly, Lei Shi had a flash of inspiration. He seemed to have thought of something. I wonder if this Zhou Ming will accept the immortal emperor's lightning bone. That item is also useless to undead spirits like us. However, it is a supreme treasure to a small number of undead spirits who cultivate special body refining techniques. This item is useless to me. It is useful to some undead spirits but those people can't afford it. That King Yinglong has his eyes on this item but he is reluctant to pay for it. If it's a normal transaction, why wouldn't I sell it to him? However, he just had to snatch it from me. Humph. I have never suffered a loss when doing business. How can I give him the lightning bone for nothing? This Zhou Ming still has 800 silver jades and 10 golden jades with him. Why don't I go all out and sell this lightning bone to him? There are two benefits to doing this. Firstly, King Yinglong will no longer have a reason to deal with me. Secondly, I can earn all of Zhou Ming's lightning jades. With so many lightning jades, I can refine them into magic power. Even if I haven't attained the late void refinement realm yet, I can probably be considered as a top-notch expert among the mid-void refinement realm experts. The only thing I need to worry about is whether this Zhou Ming will buy this item or not. Lei Shi's eyes rolled around. Business is business. He really admired Ning Fan's character of fair dealing. He decided to take out the lightning bone that he had been hiding and show it to Ning Fan. He wanted to see if this young man would buy it. I have a treasure that I need to take out and let little friend appreciate it. Little Feng Zi. Bring little friend Zhou to the gold grade treasure vault. You can sell all the goods including the forbidden items to little friend Zhou if he likes them. The person who was addressed as little Feng Zi was naturally Chu Nanfeng. Chu Nanfeng's face was filled with shock and disbelief. The items in the gold grade treasure vault were the most precious supreme treasures. Even if a void inquiry stage old monster came to the myriad treasure pavilion, Lei Shi might not necessarily treat them well and bring them into the gold grade treasure vault. Besides, Chu Nanfeng was a void glimpse stage old monster after all. It was still acceptable for him to lead the way for a void inquiry stage old monster, but he actually led the way for a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. It was a little embarrassing. You're not willing to go. Lei Shi's gaze darkened. He was usually perverted, but he was still very dignified during crucial moments. I wouldn't dare. Chu Nanfeng smiled bitterly. How would he dare to disobey Lei Shi's order? Don't worry, this old man knows what you're thinking. Isn't it just embarrassing to lead the way for a junior? Don't worry, this old man won't let you be the only one embarrassed. Little Yun, little Yang, and the two of you, go together. The five of us will show little friend Zhou around the treasury. Lei Shi said firmly. What? The expressions of Mo Feiyun, old Yang, and the others changed. 5 void glimpse stage experts were leading the way for a divine transformation realm junior. Weren't they giving him too much face? No, that's not right. The 5 of them gradually understood what was going on. Lei Shi ordering the 5 of them to lead the way for Ning Fan did not seem to be as simple as treating him generously. Yes, that must be the case. Lei Shi was afraid that Ning Fan would steal something, so he ordered the 5 early void refinement realm experts to keep an eye on him. But, how is this possible? Is it really necessary to use 5 void refinement realm experts to keep an eye on a divine transformation realm junior? Is Ning Fan really that powerful in Lei Shi's eyes? The 5 of them looked at Ning Fan, who was skinny and weak. They did not believe that Ning Fan could steal something under the nose of a void glimpse stage old monster. There was a mortal void realm formation inside the gold grade treasury. The light of the formation could seal the magic power of spiritual puppets. Even though Ning Fan had 3 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets, he could not use them in the treasury. With Ning Fan's half-step Void Refinement Realm strength, would he need 5 Void Refinement Realm experts to keep an eye on him? Probably not. Chu Nanfeng alone is enough. Is the Pavilion Master making a big fuss over a minor issue? Without giving them a chance to refuse, Lei Shi left in a hurry. He was probably going to retrieve the immortal Emperor Lightning Bone. Chu Nanfeng and the other 4 old monsters exchanged glances with each other. Even though they could not bring themselves to lead the way for a junior, they did not dare to disobey Lei Shi's order. They sighed inwardly. Fine. It's better to let the 5 of us lead the way for this junior. It's better to lose face together than to lose face alone. Little friend, we will lead you to the gold grade treasury to have a look. With the Pavilion Master's order, as long as you have enough lightning jades, you can sell anything that catches your eye even if it's a forbidden item. Forbidden item? Ning Fan asked doubtfully. Hee. To us undead spirits, there are many spiritual items and treasures that living people can devour and control. However, we can't use them. If we eat or use them incorrectly, we might suffer serious injuries from the backlash. For example, the frozen cloud garlic. This item has the effect of healing injuries to living people. However, it is a first-class poison to us undead spirits. Once we consume it incorrectly, it will cause great damage to our bodies. All of these items are listed as forbidden items by the Pavilion Master. Normally, we won't sell them to undead spirits who don't know what they are. The Pavilion Master often says that undead spirits love money and they get it in the right way. The Pavilion Master won't sell immoral money. Really? Ning Fan nodded his head slightly. This Lei Shi is rather interesting. Don't sell poisonous items to the undead spirits and don't make a fortune. Is this his principle of doing things? However, why did they sell it to Ning Fan? Did he have confidence in his judgment, or did he realize that he was a living person? I don't know. However, this Lei Shi is really cautious. He sent 5 Void Glimpse stage experts to keep an eye on me. In that case, I have no choice but to give up on my plan to rob his treasure vault. Fine. It's also good to have a transaction where the goods and money are settled once in a while. The gold grade treasury was heavily guarded by undead spirits. As soon as these undead spirits saw Ning Fan, a stranger, approaching the treasure vault, they immediately raised their magic treasures and were on high alert. When they took another look, they realized that there were actually 5 Void Glimpse stage elders beside Ning Fan leading the way. Immediately, all of the experts kept their magic treasures and felt deep veneration towards Ning Fan. Inwardly, they were guessing what kind of distinguished identity Ning Fan, who was just a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator, actually has to be able to make 5 Void Refinement Realm experts lead the way. What a great honor! Could it be that Ning Fan is a cultivator of the high-grade Lightning Tower? A late Void Refinement Realm or even peak Void Refinement Realm background? When they thought of this, none of them dared to look at Ning Fan disrespectfully anymore. They immediately made way for Ning Fan and his group, allowing them to enter the treasure vault. The treasure vault was divided into 4 floors. On the first floor, there were many pills and magic treasures. All of them were treasures that Void Glimpse stage cultivators would use. On this floor, there was a low-grade Mortal Void Formation Light. By borrowing the power of lightning, it could greatly restrain a cultivator's magic power. It was even more effective against corpse refinement puppets. Before entering the formation light, Chu Nanfeng forced out a smile and introduced the treasure vault. The gold-grade treasury is equipped with layers upon layers of formations which can restrain all puppets to death. It is also quite effective against undead spirits like us. The treasure vault is divided into 4 floors. On the first floor, there is a low-grade Mortal Void Formation Light. Even for a Void Glimpse stage undead spirit like me, my magic power will be restricted by at least half. About this. There are some things that little friend should pay attention to. Chu Nanfeng's tone was slightly hesitant. Fellow Taoist, you don't have to hesitate. You can tell me directly if there is anything that I need to pay attention to. Hee. It's not that I'm looking down on fellow Taoist. However, fellow Taoist only has a half-step void refinement realm cultivation base. I'm afraid you won't be able to withstand the formation light here. Before entering the formation, it's better for you to consume a protective pill to increase your defense. So, fellow Taoist Chu is worried about this. Don't worry. Even though my cultivation base is weak, a mere formation light won't be able to hurt me. You don't have to consume the pill. Ning Fan glanced at the pill and his eyes flashed with a strange expression. To an undead spirit, this pill was indeed a protective pill. However, to a living person, it was a poison. He was a living person. Of course, he would not be willing to consume poison. Seeing Ning Fan refuse to consume the pill, Chu Nanfeng wore a faint smile on his face, but inwardly, he was a little displeased. He was kind enough to give Ning Fan a protective pill, but Ning Fan rejected him arrogantly. Could it be that Ning Fan really thinks that he can withstand the mortal void realm formation light with his mere half-step void refinement realm cultivation base? Humph. When he suffers some injuries, he will certainly know how powerful this formation light is. Then, he will understand that I'm doing it out of kindness. Chu Nanfeng let out a cold snort inwardly. However, on the surface, he still put on an apologetic smile and continued. It's fine if fellow Taoist refuses to accept the pill. However, if you get injured, it's definitely not my business. There's one more thing that I must remind fellow Taoist. Just now, I've told you that the formation light here can restrain all spiritual puppets. Even though fellow Taoist has 3 void glimpse stage spiritual puppets with you, you must not summon them in the treasure vault. Otherwise, the formation light will judge you as a thief and kill you. Is that so? I'll keep this in mind. I won't summon my spiritual puppets in the treasure vault. Ning Fan nodded his head. He had already given up on the idea of robbing the treasure vault. Thus, he naturally would not summon his spiritual puppets to fight them. Besides, he was not worried that the 5 void glimpse stage experts would lure him into the formation and plot against him. This formation used the power of lightning to restrain the magic power of cultivators. Since he had condensed the Tai Su lightning star, he was naturally not afraid of the formation. He also had the heaven-deceiving cloak. If he insists on leaving, no one below the void fragmentation realm could stop him. Thus, he did not need to worry about his safety. Alright. Since little friend has said so, I feel relieved. Little friend, please. Chu Nanfeng took the lead and stepped into the first layer of the formation light with a single step. Immediately, the formation light swept towards him and turned into sizzling lightning. As soon as he was electrocuted, his body shuddered and his aura force was rapidly suppressed. In just a few breaths' time, his magic power was actually suppressed by nearly 30%. Mo Feiyun and the others also stepped into the formation light one after another. Each of them had 30 to 40% of their magic power suppressed. The stronger one's magic power was, the lower the suppression would be. Even with the vigorous magic power of void refinement realm cultivators, it was unavoidable for them to have 30 to 40% of their magic power suppressed. If ordinary half-step void refinement realm cultivators enter the formation light without taking protective pills, their magic power would be completely sealed and they would be severely injured by the formation light. The 5 void glimpse stage experts entered the formation one after another. All of their gazes fell upon Ning Fan. Chu Nanfeng, in particular, wanted to see Ning Fan's appearance when he was injured by the backlash. Young people were always very self-righteous. After suffering a setback, they would know that the advice of their seniors was unpleasant to the ears. Old Chu, this young man is the pavilion lord's guest after all. Even though he is a little arrogant, we can't really watch him get injured. Once this young man suffers from the backlash of the formation light, we will just let him suffer a little. Don't let him die in the treasure vault. Mo Feiyun transmitted his voice to Chu Nanfeng to remind him. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. How can I leave him in the lurch? I'm just weakening his spirit as a young man. It's also for his own good. Chu Nanfeng gently shook his head. He was not a narrow-minded person. The gazes of the 5 old monsters were all focused on Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes revealed a strange expression. With his intelligence, he naturally saw through the thoughts of the 5 of them. Aren't these 5 old monsters too bored? They are actually waiting for him to suffer from the backlash of the formation light. They are destined to be disappointed. Ning Fan took a step into the formation light. The sizzling golden lightning immediately pressed down on him, as if 1,000 mountains were falling down. The tremendous momentum was enough to suppress all divine transformation realm beings. Unless they are void refinement realm beings, no one would be able to withstand the lightning in this place. Lightning flashed on Ning Fan's glabella. A vast aura force rose in his eyes and he shouted. Get lost! With just that one word, all the golden lightning bolts in the sky hurriedly retreated as if they were afraid. None of them dared to attack Ning Fan. At this moment, Ning Fan was like the lord of all lightning. None of them dared to hurt him. An ancient and vicissitude aura force spread out from Ning Fan's eyes and inadvertently swept across the 5 void glimpse stage experts. All of a sudden, fear towards Ning Fan rose from the depths of the souls of the 5 lightning cultivators. They could not understand. They could not understand why Ning Fan, who was just a half-step void refinement realm cultivator, was unscathed after entering the mortal void lightning formation. They could not understand. They could not understand why the aura force of Ning Fan's gaze was so strong that the 5 void glimpse stage experts did not dare to look at him directly. All of a sudden, none of them including Chu Nanfeng dared to look down on Ning Fan anymore. No. Not only that. When Ning Fan's gaze swept across the 5 of them, intense fear rose in their hearts. This young man is very dangerous. It's very necessary for the pavilion master to send the 5 of us to keep an eye on him. Chapter 419. At that moment, the might of Tai Su's lightning made Chu Nanfeng and the other 4 old monsters who were lightning element undead spirits feel fearful towards Ning Fan. Their faces turned slightly solemn. After bringing Ning Fan around the treasure house, they became more vigilant, afraid that Ning Fan would plunder the treasury. Ning Fan did not care about their feelings. He stepped into the formation light and his eyes wandered around the first floor of the treasure house. The first floor of the treasure house was an incomparably spacious hall. There were grooves on the 4 walls of the hall which contained many treasures. All of them were protected by formation light. Without a token, one would not be able to take them out. The treasure house was divided into 4 floors. The items that were displayed on the first floor were usually used by void glimpse stage old monsters. Ning Fan's eyes scanned across the 4th floor and gradually exclaimed in surprise. This myriad treasure house really has a lot of good items. There were low-grade mortal void magic treasures, low-grade mortal void cultivation methods and magic techniques, low-grade 6th revolution pills and pill recipes. Unfortunately, most of these magic treasures had been damaged. Most of the cultivation methods and magic techniques were incomplete. Only a few of them were still intact. All of them were meant for undead spirits to cultivate. Living people could not cultivate them. As for 6th revolution pills, Ning Fan also did not expect that there would be such high-grade pills in this place. Unfortunately, each of these pills had been stored for countless years. Their medicinal properties had been severely depleted and some of them had even deteriorated. If one were to consume them, not only would their effects be weak, they might even harm themselves. The Black Lightning Tower was a tower of undead spirits. Rumor has it that the undead spirits in this tower were all dead cultivators of a certain era and place. There were also some undead spirits that were transformed from the lightning beasts of the later generations. Most of the magic treasures and pills in the tower came from ancient times. Naturally, they could not be used anymore. The undead spirits in the tower could not be brought out of the tower either. They could only live in a strange state here. Ning Fan fell into deep thought. He seemed to have heard about the strange existence of the undead spirits in the Black Lightning Tower before. I remember now. Old ancestor Dong Su once said that Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou used the White Lightning World Treasure to open up the Thunder Sovereign's tomb. There seemed to be undead spirits in the tomb as well. As for the Thunder Sovereign himself, he seemed to have become one of the undead spirits, living in a state where he was neither dead nor alive. Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou probably used the experience of the Black Lightning Tower to imitate the undead spirits in this place. Speaking of which, Hong Yi once said that the Void Pierce stage ferocious beast guarding the entrance of the Black Lightning Realm was set up by the Thunder Sovereign. The Thunder Sovereign has indeed come to the Black Lightning Tower. Perhaps the Thunder Sovereign had also passed through the Tai Su's 3 questions before. However, he definitely did not manage to pass the trial completely. At most, he had passed the second trial. In the inheritance of the Tai Su lightning star, I could feel that I was the first person to condense this star after the Thunder Emperor. From a certain point of view, my aptitude in the Tao of lightning is slightly higher than that of the Thunder Sovereign. Ning Fan withdrew his thoughts and scanned through the 6th revolution pills again. These pills had lost their medicinal properties. Thus, they naturally could not arouse his interest at all. However, the 6th revolution Dan formula made his eyes brighten. There were hardly any dead spirits in the Black Lightning Tower who knew how to concoct pills, let alone a 6th revolution pill master. Therefore, this 6th revolution Dan recipe had never experienced any battles and almost no one fought for it. Apart from a few missing parts, there were still 11 or 12 pill recipes that were perfectly preserved. The prices of these pill recipes were pitifully low. 1 silver jade could buy them, but no dead spirit had ever bought them. If these pill recipes were to be leaked out of the Rain World, they would certainly fetch a sky-high price. Low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe, floating life pill. Floating life is like a dream, the heavenly Tao is like smoke. This pill is a low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe. It can conceal one's chi, deceive the heavenly Tao and conceal the heavenly tribulation. If a cultivator consumes one of these pills, he or she would not be disturbed by the heavenly tribulation when breaking through to the void glimpse stage. Low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe, life-prolonging pill. A single pill can prolong one's life by 1,000 years. This pill is a low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe. It can increase the lifespan of a void refinement realm old monster by 1,000 years. This pill is really powerful. The strongest longevity pill I have ever seen could at most extend one's lifespan by 300 years. If I succeed in consuming this pill, I'm afraid not only void refinement realm experts but also void fragmentation realm experts in the Rain World will have to beg me for a pill. A lifespan of 1,000 years can change too many things in one's life. Low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe, void glimpse pill. The void is ethereal, one can perceive it by consuming this pill. This pill is a low-grade 6th revolution Dan recipe. It can help a cultivator perceive a trace of the power of the void, increasing his or her chances of breaking through to the void refinement realm by at least 10%. Even I can use this pill recipe. Ning Fan's heart was burning with excitement but his eyes remained calm. After glancing at the other treasures indifferently, he turned around and casually bought the complete pill recipes one by one. He used a dozen pieces of useless silver-grade lightning jades to buy more than 10 types of priceless pill recipes. Ning Fan made a profit once again. Of course, in the eyes of Chu Nanfeng and the other undead spirits, Ning Fan was just wasting his money. They could naturally tell that Ning Fan was not a 6th revolution pill master. Besides, even if Ning Fan was heaven-defying and had 6th revolution pill refinement realm, as an undead spirit, he could only stay in the Black Lightning Tower and was not allowed to go out. There were not many precious spiritual herbs in this place which could be used to concoct any 6th revolution pills. What's the use of pill recipes? Could it be that this young man really likes to buy rubbish? Chu Nanfeng, Mo Feng and the other old monsters began to criticize Ning Fan inwardly. They had the same thought as Lei Shi in the past. We have finished looking at the first floor. Fellow Taoist, are you willing to go to the second floor to have a look? After witnessing Ning Fan's strength, Chu Nanfeng's tone became much more polite. He addressed Ning Fan as fellow Taoist. Vaguely, he already had the intention to treat Ning Fan as his peer. Of course, I will go. Ning Fan nodded his head and followed the 5 old monsters to the second floor. The formation light of the second floor was already at the mid-grade mortal void realm. Its destructive power was more than a few times stronger than the first floor. Even Chu Nanfeng and the other void glimpse stage old monsters had no choice but to consume some protective pills. If they don't consume the pills and enter the second floor without permission, their magic power would be suppressed by more than 90%. When facing a ruthless person like Ning Fan whose magic power was suppressed by 90%, the 5 of them would not be able to defend themselves at all once Ning Fan goes berserk and kills someone. Even though Chu Nanfeng and the other old monsters had consumed protective pills, they still could not help but feel a little sluggish after entering the second floor. As for Ning Fan, he secretly activated the Tai Su lightning might. After entering the second floor, he only gave them a cold look. None of the lightning rays dared to pressure him. The 5 void glimpse stage old monsters became even more shocked. They could still understand why Ning Fan could ignore the first floor of the formation light as if it was nothing. After all, a void inquiry stage old monster like Lei Shi was also immune to the first floor of the formation light. However, even Lei Shi would have a lot of his magic power suppressed after entering the second floor. Ning Fan, on the other hand, was not affected by the formation light at all. Perhaps only old monsters like King Ying Long who were about to break through to the void pierce stage could barely do this. Could it be that this Zhou Ming has been hiding his true strength? Could it be that his true strength is comparable to King Ying Long? This thought rose in the minds of the 5 old monsters at the same time and it was hard for them to get rid of it. They had heard rumors about Ning Fan. He had slaughtered everyone on the first 10 floors of the Lightning Tower and killed Su Longzi, the younger brother of King Ying Long. He had completely offended King Ying Long and was chased by the experts of the 24th floor. At first, when they heard the news, they just dismissed it with a smile, thinking that Ning Fan was a new expert who had just advanced to the next level. He would certainly die for offending King Ying Long recklessly. Unexpectedly, when they saw Ning Fan with their own eyes today, they finally felt that Ning Fan's means were extremely powerful. Perhaps, Ning Fan had been hiding his true strength. Perhaps, Ning Fan was strong enough to rival King Ying Long. Perhaps, Ning Fan himself was a void inquiry stage old monster or even, a void pierce stage expert. Void pierce stage old monster was a respectful title for late void refinement realm experts. It was not difficult for a void pierce stage expert to fight 10 void inquiry stage experts alone. If this Zhou Ming is a void pierce stage old monster, it won't be difficult for him to wipe out my myriad treasure pavilion alone. Even if he isn't a void pierce stage expert, I'm afraid that he is not far from it. No wonder the pavilion master is so afraid of this person. This person cannot be provoked. When he thought of how he had spoken rudely and offended Ning Fan just now, Chu Nanfeng immediately broke out in cold sweat. No matter if Ning Fan was a void inquiry stage expert or a void pierce stage old monster, he was definitely not someone Chu Nanfeng could afford to provoke. Fellow Taoist Zhou, please forgive me if I have offended you before. Chu Nanfeng suddenly stepped forward and cupped his fists to apologize. There was a faint look of fear on his face. Fellow Taoist, you must be joking. It's just a small matter, there's no need to take it to heart. With Ning Fan's intelligence, he could naturally tell that Chu Nanfeng was afraid of him. He was afraid that Chu Nanfeng had misjudged his strength because he was immune to the lightning formation. He did not explain, nor did he intend to incur the wrath of the Million Treasure Pavilion. He just casually waved his hand to dispel Chu Nanfeng's fear, and his gaze lingered on the second floor again. Chu Nanfeng heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Ning Fan did not have the intention to pursue the previous matter. Then, he began to introduce the hidden treasures of the second floor to Ning Fan with even more enthusiasm. The second floor of the treasury was different from the first floor. The palace on the second floor was only a third of the size of the first floor, and the collection was much smaller. However, the treasures here were much more precious than the first floor. All of the magic treasures on this floor were at the mid-grade mortal void realm. Moreover, there were even 1 or 2 magic treasures that were still in perfect condition. Ning Fan was slightly tempted by these magic treasures, but he did not buy them. To undead spirits, undamaged magic treasures were priceless items. An undamaged magic treasure was priced at 500 silver jades or 5 golden jades. Ning Fan was not prepared to spend his money on magic treasures. He did not lack magic treasures. He had an immemorial divine weapon. As long as he has the right opportunity, it would not be difficult for his divine weapon to upgrade. Besides, with his current magic power, he was still unable to use mid-grade mortal void magic treasures. Therefore, he just took a glance and did not pay too much attention to it. However, some of the cultivation methods and magic techniques in this place made him feel a little tempted. Among the few complete magic techniques, one of them was a mid-grade mortal void realm body technique. If Ning Fan can learn it, with his current body refinement realm, he would even be able to kill a void glimpse stage-old monster with his physical body. Unfortunately, this body technique was the most difficult to cultivate. Moreover, it emphasized on one's foundation. One would need to cultivate it steadily, using a long period of time to cultivate it to perfection. Ning Fan roughly estimated that with his innate potential, he would need at least 100 years to cultivate this technique in the outside world. If he borrows the cultivation speed of the profound Yin world, which was 100 times faster, he would probably need more than a year to cultivate it. How could he have so much time to spend on a single body technique? Ning Fan shook his head and did not buy this body technique. Instead, he scanned through the pills and the pill recipe. All the pills were still destroyed. As for the pill recipe, there was only a mid-grade 6th revolution healing pill called Bien K pill. This pill recipe was created by an ancient pill master. It had a miraculous effect in treating injuries on the skin, meridians and bones. As long as a void inquiry stage-old monster was still alive, it could cure all their injuries. Even though Ning Fan's pill refinement mastery was still far from reaching the mid-grade 6th revolution, he naturally would not miss such a good pill recipe. Ning Fan quickly browsed through the second floor. Then, he followed the 5 old monsters up the stairs and entered the third floor. The formation light of the third floor had already reached the high-grade mortal void realm. Chu, Mo, and the other old monsters almost activated all of their defenses before they dared to enter this floor. Even so, their magic power was still suppressed by 90%. This time, even if Ning Fan entered this floor, he would not have an easy time. The Tai Su lightning star was immune to lightning of the same level as him. However, the lightning of the formation light here was obviously much stronger than Ning Fan. Even with the Tai Su lightning star, Ning Fan could not fight against a void-pierced stage-old monster. Naturally, he could not withstand the formation light of this place. With Ning Fan's cultivation base, his magic power was suppressed by 30% when he entered this place. Even so, Chu Nanfeng and the other old monsters were already extremely shocked. Judging from the weakening of his qi, this Zhou Ming only had 30% of his magic power suppressed. Could this person really be a void-pierced stage-old monster? Even if King Yinglong comes here, his magic power would also be suppressed by more than 50%. King Yinglong is already a peak existence among the void inquiry stage experts. This young man is actually stronger than him. If he isn't a void-pierced stage expert, what else could he be? A feeling of astonishment rose in the hearts of the 5 of them. Their reverence towards Ning Fan had also risen to the peak. Ning Fan did not care about the 5 of them. His eyes were completely attracted by the treasures on the third floor. The treasures contained in this place were too precious. Among them, there were even a few immemorial divine weapons and immemorial star iron. There were also many fiend god cultivation methods in this place. Most of the fiend god cultivation methods in this place were passed down by the fiend gods of the ancient times. They were far less profound than the yin-yang transformation and Fu-Li cultivation methods. Thus, Ning Fan naturally did not care about them. However, when his eyes scanned through the divine weapons and star iron, he suddenly felt as if his horizons had been broadened. The immemorial divine weapons displayed here were labeled as one-star divine weapons. However, one of the pieces of immemorial star iron on sale was two-star divine iron. Suddenly, Ning Fan realized that the immemorial stars were divided into different grades. The star iron that was labeled as two-star divine iron obviously contained more star power than a one-star divine iron. Its sturdiness had already far surpassed that of a one-star divine iron. Ning Fan peeked into his sea of consciousness and found that the four immemorial divine weapons that were being nurtured in the divine stars were all one-star divine weapons. Only the Separation Slayer sword had a small amount of star iron that reached the standard of two-star divine iron. The small amount of two-star iron was probably obtained from Si Wuxie. As for the rest of the star iron, they were all one-star divine weapons. A one-star divine weapon could be said to be indestructible against cultivators below the divine transformation realm. However, once a cultivator reaches the void refinement realm, each and every one of their abilities and magic techniques would have the power to destroy heaven and earth. Even a one-star divine weapon could not guarantee that it would be indestructible. Only a two-star divine weapon could remain unscathed in a battle between void refinement realm cultivators. Ning Fan's gaze fell upon that piece of two-star divine iron. His eyes gradually burned with passion. If he buys this piece of divine iron and refines it into his magic treasure, it would certainly greatly increase the power of his immemorial divine weapon. In the Black Lightning Tower, undead spirits could not cultivate the immemorial fiend god veins. Immemorial divine weapons and cultivation methods were also extremely cheap. They were merely around 10 pieces of silver-grade lightning jades. Ning Fan no longer hesitated. He bought all the immemorial divine weapons and fiend god cultivation methods in this place, including that piece of two-star divine iron. He spent a total of 200 silver jades. Even though a one-star divine weapon and ordinary fiend god cultivation methods were not necessities to Ning Fan, these items were also priceless in the outside world. Thus, it was not a loss for him to buy them. Seeing Ning Fan spend a huge sum of money to buy a pile of trash, Chu Nanfeng and the other old monsters could not help but praise Ning Fan's generosity. They had already firmly believed that Ning Fan was a void-pierced stage-old monster. Moreover, he was also a wealthy man. Therefore, no one criticized Ning Fan for spending money recklessly anymore. The palm-sized piece of two-star divine iron was probably only enough for him to upgrade his Separation Slayer sword. Even so, Ning Fan was still in a good mood. However, when he went around the third floor, he felt a little disappointed. On the third floor, there were only 2 to 3 types of high-grade 6th revolution pill recipes. Moreover, all of them were incomplete ancient items that were not worth purchasing. Other than the two-star divine iron, Ning Fan did not seem to have any other gains on the third floor. He wanted to head to the fourth floor. However, Chu Nanfeng and the other old monsters no longer dared to enter the fourth floor. The formation light of the fourth floor was at the peak mortal void realm. With their weak cultivation bases, if they enter the formation light, they would either die or be severely injured. Spying on Ning Fan. Hee hee. They are just 5 void glimpse stage experts. What qualifications do they have to spy on a void-pierced stage cultivator? A void-pierced stage cultivator could easily destroy the myriad treasure pavilion alone. He could also flatten all 24 floors without breaking a sweat. If Ning Fan insists on robbing the treasure house, who can stop him? No. Ning Fan has void-pierced stage strength. Why would he need to steal? All he needed to do was ask for something, and even Lei Shi would have to give him face. Lei Shi dared not to give King Yinglong face because he was not a Void Pierce stage expert. If he is a Void Pierce stage old monster, would Lei Shi dare to offend him? Our cultivation bases are weak. Thus, we won't enter the 4th floor. Fortunately, the 4th floor isn't that big. Fellow Taoist can enter on his own. We can just watch from the outside. Chu Nanfeng and the others smiled awkwardly. All right. Ning Fan could tell that the formation light of the 4th floor was powerful. Thus, he did not force the 5 of them to enter. Even with his lightning star ability, 70% of his magic power was suppressed when he stepped into the 4th floor. The 4th floor was also the top of the treasure house. It was only several tens of zhang in size. There were no magic treasures, cultivation methods, pills or pill recipes displayed on the floor. On the contrary, there were other good items displayed on the floor. On the left side was a piece of golden lightning jade that contained lightning. A black-grade lightning jade could only be obtained after a void fragmentation realm undead spirit dies. However, there had never been a void fragmentation realm expert in the lightning tower. The highest cultivation base of an absolute void stage old monster was just at the peak void refinement realm. After an absolute void stage old monster dies, the lightning jades they left behind would contain a hint of black within the gold. A piece of lightning jade was priced at 20 golden jades. Ning Fan could not afford it and he would not buy it either. He was not an undead spirit. A half-black lightning jade was useless to him. His gaze swept across the floor on the right side and he was slightly surprised. There were a total of 14 inheritance crystals placed on the floor on the right side. These inheritance crystals were perfectly sealed. Perhaps they were left behind by some experts before they died. However, the inheritance crystals had another drawback. Undead spirits could not use them. Ning Fan had no idea what was inside them. Even so, the price of each inheritance crystal was not cheap. One inheritance crystal cost 50 silver jades. Buying these memory crystals was equivalent to a gamble. You don't know what is inside them. Perhaps what is passed down inside them are just the last words of some old monster before he died. There is no cultivation method inheritance. However, since the lightning jades were useless to him, he was extremely willing to buy these crystals. With his eyes as a living person, he wanted to see what was inside them. He reached out his hand, intending to take those crystals. All of a sudden, a strange and obscene voice resounded behind him. Little friend, you are indeed a living person. You are the same as that Thunder Sovereign Buzhou. Both of you are cultivators who entered the lightning tower from the outside world, am I right? Ning Fan turned around and saw Lei Shi behind him. He was holding a sealed jade box with yellow teeth and a meaningful smile on his face. I have underestimated fellow Taoists' eyesight. You're right. I am indeed a living person. Compared to you, an undead spirit, I am a different species. Are you going to kill me? The atmosphere instantly turned heavy as if he would attack at any time. However, at the next moment, Lei Shi burst into laughter again. Whether you are a living person or a dead person, what does that have to do with me? When I do business with others, I only care about money. That's all. However, since you are a living person, it's even better. Just now, I went to take an item. To an undead spirit, only a few of them can use it. However, to a living person, this is a priceless treasure. I'm afraid fellow Taoist will really want it. As soon as Lei Shi finished speaking, he slowly opened the jade box in his hand. All of a sudden, a terrifying lightning might force spread out from the jade box. The aura force was as heavy as 1,000 mountains, as if it was going to crush heaven and earth. There was only a finger bone inside the jade box. This finger bone was priceless. This is an immortal emperor's finger bone. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with astonishment for the first time. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.